From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on NintenDomain, fuck the Game Awards. We got our own personal Switch stats, and Alex and Joel are here to give their Game of the Year lists.
You know what they say, when life gets dirty, spray it down.
It's like you guys knew I was power washing.
I haven't played that yet, but I want to because I know it's free on a different system, but it's also a Switch game. But we'll talk about that. Welcome to NintenDomain Podcast, episode 401. Your place to hear Nintendo fans talk about really bad Game Awards and personal Switch stats and all that stuff. And we are your hosts. I'm Trey. Jet Force Gemini still sucks Johnson.
Wow.
Play it.
I'm Jeremy. Which non-Minecraft should I play? Mikowski.
Oh, yeah. No, we have special guests this week.
I'm Alex Unbound Arona.
Joel, fine, I'll make my own Game Awards with blackjack and hookers and DeWitt.
Yeah.
Isn't Unbound, wasn't that Wachowski's movie? Or no, that was Bound.
That was Bound.
It's a sequel to that, is Unbound.
Yep. Okay, there we go.
I think there was like a Superman Unbound movie too, or something like that.
Animated.
Thanks so much for joining us, Joel and Alex. It's been a minute. When did we talk? We talked to you last when you were at Summer Games Fest, right? And now there's been another. So now there's been Winter Games Fest. Did you go to the Game Awards? I mean, you went to the other one. Might as well have gone to that one too.
There was an invite.
No. So we had something in our inbox, but then it went like, I don't think we're going to be able to justify paying for this along with Christmas coming up. So.
Yeah, and there was nobody trying to like front us like, yeah, you guys go there and we'll pay for your hotel and flight so you guys can get free drinks and just hang out with Keeley. No one wants that.
And dress up real snazzy.
Oh yeah.
And meet the flute guy, baby.
You could have worn the night suit like that Baldur's Gate guy through the whole thing.
I was impressed by that, actually.
Yeah, that was one of the few interesting things from the show.
I am brown. There's no way I would have gotten through security.
Yeah, I sat through that again, and thanks to Jess for sitting through it with me. But I thought the Game Awards happened, in between episodes. We can talk about that briefly. I don't want to talk about it for a really long time because I don't think it deserves that. But it was kind of fun for the first hour, I guess. But once I realized that it was really, really long. And
it's always 3.5 hours.
I know, but it's like you think it's like any abusive relationship. You think it's going to be better next time, like maybe you'll get to choose whatever's on the pizza or something like that. But this gives you nothing, It's just like
you think there's a little surprise in there somewhere.
Do you think there's going to be something? I mean, there was a couple things, but the one thing that really annoyed me was just like how many 2025 games were in there. It's like we're skipping next year. We're not even doing 2024. We're going straight to 2025, and it's like. I should have had a shot. I was sober. That was my dumbest thing. I was watching the sober, but I should have taken a shot every time they showed a 2025 game, so it would have been a little bit easier to take the Game Awards because
I think I had 7 White Claws over the course of that 3.5 hours.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we were both sober, and Jess was pretty bored with it, but I got bored with it too. It's like what 15% awards and like 85% of
I'm trying to remember
of trailers, and it's like what
Shauna had to go and run a bunch of errands and was gone for a few hours. Obviously, so when she left, I was sitting on the couch. When she got back, I was sitting in the same spot. I had some empty cans around me or whatever. But yeah, it was just I don't know why I was transfixed by the mediocrity.
I definitely remember though, every time I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be what till it's gonna be 2 hours, and it's like, oh wait, it's 3 hours, and I think I remember thinking that exact thought last year, and I learned nothing.
I've been disappointed every year, but I do have to say this year they announced World of Goo 2. So I mean, that's all we need. That was like the one thing that I was like, that's fucking cool. I love that game. One of the best soundtracks ever. Let's do it. World of Goo 2 coming out next year, not 2025. Great.
Right.
That's
That
all we
was a
needed.
big
They could have ended it
surprise.
there. You know.
That was a really big surprise. The first place I played that was on Wii, so my mind
me
was just
too.
like, I wonder if somebody will do the motion tracking on that. And
Yeah, it'd be interesting on how you do it because they did re-release it for Switch, and it was not. I bought it again, but it was really hard to play with the Switch motion controls. You know, it's got nothing on the pointer on the original Wii pointer. So hopefully they find a way to make that better because I loved that first game. It was so dark, it was so funny, it was so weird, and like the world ends at the end of the game. So I want to know like how they're gonna like do a sequel to that because like everybody's dead. Like it's like it's like the end of the universe and there's nothing left. And that's why I loved it because it was so like dark. And it's like, well, I guess we got to rebuild somehow. I think there's maybe one goo living at the very end on a sailboat, on like a space sailboat.
What was that other game that they made that was like you're just throwing stuff into a fire?
Oh yeah, like Inferno or something like
Little
that.
Inferno.
Yeah.
I bought that
remember,
game
like,
and it was so disappointing because it's
so-
not a game.
Nope.
you just burn shit. That's all it is. It's like what?
As far as I can tell, that's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I paid money for that, and I'm like this. I was like, I paid money for this. All I'm doing is burning stuff. I could have burned stuff in real life for cheaper. You know.
Yeah.
I
recommend it. It's fun.
You guys should have done there's two parts I would think say, but the first thing is you guys should have done what we did. We made bingo cards.
Yeah, that's more effort than I want to put towards Keeley's events ever. You know.
Well, it was just us guessing dumb stuff though. It was like how many celebrities and
when will Hideo Kojima
it makes
show
it more
up?
interesting.
Yeah. And with Death Stranding 2, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
But the other thing I was going to say is because we like this was something I foresaw was that because we had such an influx of just like amazing games all year, they just kept coming more and more. I was like, we're not going to get games next year. This is not going to be next year. So when they kept saying like 2025, I was like, well, that just makes sense, right?
Don't you skip leap years? I think that might be what
I mean, everyone again just went nuts and just like, okay, we're gonna release all of our games. I mean, look at Tekken. Tekken stopped and said, "Where there's way too many. No, we're gonna like the game is done, but we're still holding off." So it's like that's
Game Wars was great when Jeff Keighley wasn't the one on stage.
Unless it was Sydney Goodman. Oh my God, her jokes were so bad this year. That opening, man, like fucking. Why is she even on there? Like it was. I mean, and I never.
They were really bad.
I didn't like really hate her before, but I kind of did this time. She was actually. I was kind of neutral towards her, but I was like, what is this? What are these jokes? These jokes are so. dumb.
Is that someone that works at? Is that someone that works in the games industry, or like?
She worked at IGN for a time.
Okay.
She used to be on Nintendo Voice Chat years ago.
Okay.
So I mean, I've seen her on that, but I mean,
to be fair, she probably didn't write that stuff.
Probably not, but I mean, those jokes were awful. Like they were just so bad, and I'm like, what? And then they did the same thing, where they're like, where there's a stage, but they're not on the stage. Like they're not on the stage when they want to run through like 10 awards at once, and they skip through like best RPG and like, like it's just. I mean, I wish they would do, I mean, sure, a lot of people hate the Oscars. I like the Oscars. I like watching the Oscars. But they should do like what the Oscar does and actually do stuff about the shit that's nominated. I mean, if the Oscars was just a whole bunch of trailers for movies for next year, I'd be kind of a little pissed. Instead of like, where they like show excerpts or they have people come out who won and give speeches and all that. Or they do little montages, where they show stuff from the movies that were nominated and all that stuff. Or they do little like synopsis and... they do the performances of all the nominated songs and stuff like that.
I thought it was kind of funny that they really wanted to remind everyone that Gonzo likes to boink chickens.
Yeah.
Oh God, that was awful too.
Like, did you forget about that?
Just in
case you forgot about
that whole segment was real bad. It was really bad.
It was just weird.
That is the most lifeless I've seen Gonzo perform.
But it was also just weird to like lean into like, by the way, he's gonna go fuck this chicken. ERB guys.
In case you forgot.
Yeah, and then he comes back and goes,
one.
that sure was great. And it's like, don't do this to Gonzo. He's not.
It was like a completely different voice too. Like his voice sounded really weird.
I think that's just been time. Like I think I've seen like
Yeah.
a new Muppets like thing, and it was that voice.
I was gonna say maybe they couldn't get the voice for the Game Awards. He's like, "Fuck that! I'm not doing voice." For
Well, no, I think that the actor,
here's the puppet.
voice actor,
You do your own voice.
No, I just think that the voice actor isn't that same voice actor anymore.
Sure.
I
I mean, they're
think
probably all
Kermit
dead.
switched over
I
recently.
mean, wasn't it all
Yeah,
like
he sounded different.
wasn't it all like Jim Henson originally?
I thought
He's
Frank
he's definitely
Oz
dead.
was still alive, but I don't know if he does Gonzo's voice or not.
Joel, do you have insight on this? Having the kids that watch the Gonzos.
Why did? Well, we did watch the Muppets Haunted Mansion, so I guess they technically know the Muppets.
I like that, but I didn't
It
think
was fun.
I didn't think that Gonzo sounded weird on that. He sounded like Gonzo.
Muppet
No,
Christmas Carol's
no,
always good.
that-
I like that one.
I mean that was the one where I first noticed that Kermit sounded different.
Well, yeah, he sounded
Yeah.
different in Christmas Carol. I mean, because Jim Henson was the voice of Kermit, and he died a long time ago.
Right.
So I mean,
Right.
you know, he's been different for years. But yeah, let's see what else.
Muppets got weird, man.
I haven't seen. I mean, I watched them. I guess I watched like the movies.
No,
the
they
newer
made a show
movies,
that was.
but
like,
I haven't seen the.
They made a show that
I've
was
seen like the adult show or whatever it was.
Yeah, the one that was just like 30 Rock, but it was Muppets. It was like The Office and 30 Rock.
Oh,
But
okay.
it was Muppets, and it lasted a single season.
Yeah, I didn't. I never saw that one.
So they were doing like the talking to the camera thing in between scenes.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yeah. I will say that I think they just like the whole point of the show missed it. Like it missed the point in the fact that like there was like hardly any developers actually on stage.
Well, yeah, and it's really insulting to like play people off. It's like it's not like you have a
Yeah.
time constraint here. You got like 3 billion fucking trailers. Like cut like 20 of them or something and let people talk. I'm sorry that the fucking God of War guy talked for 6 minutes, but that was probably the most interesting thing from last year. So like, why don't we do that again? You know?
Yeah.
The guy that and they played him off, but then they're playing everybody off, and like even the guy at the end trying to talk about their friend that died while they were developing Baldur's Gate, and they're
Yeah.
playing them off, but they let fucking Hideo Kojima and Jordan Peele come on and suck each other's dick for like 20 minutes on there. It's like,
And
what
what's
the
his
fuck?
name? The guy from the Twisted Metal show, just like yelling at the crowd, "Stop it, guys! This is serious. No, I'm just joking. Hi."
Oh yeah, Anthony Mackie. Oh yeah, he's like
Or the one-
he's like season 2. It's like one person's like, yeah.
And then see who's over there like, "I hurt my foot in a pickup basketball game."
Yeah,
You know,
the
it's like,
foot the
no
foot
one
guy
cares.
too. Where he's like, let's talk
My
about
story's
let's talk about my
actually
foot
not
for 10
that
minutes.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like fucking what's his face McConaughey coming out and showing a video that doesn't even have his voice in it, or at least I couldn't recognize it on there. It's like I don't care about this game and I don't care about that game, and I don't know, whatever. But I mean, there was like a couple cool things, like what was it? The Pony Island 2 got a trailer. Like that game was really cool, right? I never played that game, but I know Jeremy really liked it. The trailer looked
I played it.
really fun and weird, so I'm into that.
Made by the same person as Inscription, right?
Yeah. And well,
He has
and
made,
Pony Island 1 also.
He
obviously.
made 3 games, and Pony Island was the second one. It's like a platformer like that plays like My Little Pony, but then of course like anything else, it starts switching genres.
Yeah.
and starts like throwing in like oh, by the way, you're stuck in the video game and it's run by Satan. You know, it's like one of those like where it's like, okay, this is pretty cool, and like it starts like, you know,
As you
oh,
would.
you don't like the game we're playing, turns off on you, and then you
Yeah.
gotta relaunch it, stuff like that. It really does kind of again.
One of the scariest moments in gaming to me, I was playing it late at night, and I was playing it on Steam, and one of my friends messaged me, and it was not real. They like, you know,
Oh
hold your
yeah,
list,
Pony
and it's
Island
like-
starts messaging you from your Steam friends list.
So it'll
Yeah.
be like, what did you do? I heard what you did, and it's messed up, or it was something like that. I'm just like,
Yeah.
wait, what? It freaked me out.
It did.
That would scare me because like the only friend I had on Steam I blocked. So if all of a sudden they started texting me through the game, I'd be like, no.
Well, it was Dan who got on the show.
Yeah.
It
It picked somebody
doing that.
randomly, and then like the funnier part was I did it while doing like Extra Life, and
Mhm.
the person that was watching, like it was a friend of mine, but at the same time they were actively like texting me. So they were like, yeah, everything's going great, and all of a sudden Steam message, it's pretty messed up, man, what you did. And I was like, wait, no, no, that's not cool. Don't text me one thing and then it's the game.
The Thrasher's getting a sequel. Like John just bought
Thumper.
Thumper's getting a sequel, and it's called Thrasher. And it's the same Lightning Bolt dude, so there you go.
It is the same
Jeremy.
lightning bolt. Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Well, they said it was done by the same person who did the music for Thumper, so
Okay,
I mean, it's obviously another Thumper. Like it has that same idea, but it doesn't look as much like the Centipede thing. But it's still kind of that same feel.
I should play Thumper.
Yeah, it was on sale. I don't know if it's still on sale. I know John got it for really cheap on when he bought like 50 games for like $100 or something like that.
It's
like
cool. It's really hard. Like,
yeah, I bought it. I bought it when it came out, and it's hard. Yeah, I had a hard time with it, but I thought it was really. I thought it looked cool. I don't know. Oh yeah, the big thing for me, and John, if John was here, but John's not here because John's still working on a thing elsewhere. But he'll be gone for the next couple weeks. But Sega, the big Sega announcement, like that and I know they'd kind of hinted at this for a while about the Sega Super games and all that, but we finally got to see a little bit of it, like
do we think that's the Super game?
Oh yeah, totally. These are the Super games because they said, but I thought they said specifically that they were going to try to bring back these like titles as Super games. So we saw like a second of like Crazy Taxi, and that's enough to make me happy because
Golden Max.
If we can step back, when you say Super games, what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean Sega. That was like Sega. What they were saying that they were going to bring back some of their older original titles as Super games. That's their term. I don't know.
Okay.
Like
In
newer versions of it. I thought
it's going to release a Super game. I don't think it's the same thing.
No, I mean look back. They said it was. We talked about it on the show like 2 years ago. I probably won't be able to find it, but I mean, I know that we said that it was. They said there would be Super versions of those games. Maybe there's another Super game that they're talking about that's a different thing, but they did say that.
Now here's a question: how many of those get made?
Right.
I mean, hopefully all of them.
None of them look like they were all at full. Yeah.
There was Shinobi. There was
Golden
Streets
Axe,
at War Age, Golden Axe,
and
it's kind of reminding me of that, almost like that cartridge that had the 6 games on it. You're right.
Yeah, the 6-in-1 value pack, or it was called.
So maybe that's the Super game. They're bringing that back, but it's Super
announced in May 2021. Sega's Super Game project will span multiple AAA titles across that cross over Sega's comprehensive range of technologies.
Okay, so maybe it's all one game.
So May 2021, but they said that it was going to be. I don't know. Yeah, it was going to have. I thought it was going to be that they were going to use their original titles in different ways.
I don't know, man. They made Crazy Taxi into a mobile game about managing money, and it was pretty good.
No, that's what I want. I want them to do I want them to do a gritty Crazy Taxi that's like real life, where you don't get paid shit, and it's really hard for you to pay to fix your car whenever shit happens to you because the gig economy is bullshit. Is what it should be. Making an actual American thing that's like anti-Uber about like how hard it is to make money and how much you wear down your car and how you can't afford to fix your shit.
Crazy ride share. That's
and how you have to and how you pretty much have to rob a bank.
No, that's what I was going to say. What if one of the components was like you could make a little extra money on the side by driving for Lyft or Uber, but if your boss finds out about it, you get fired and it's like game over.
You have to manage your.
No, they just need to make it realistic. You have to try to actually live on taxi driving.
You have to stop and eat,
which I never. Well, yeah. If you're taxi driving, you can't pee anywhere. I don't know how they do that.
Nope.
I mean, they pee.
You ever play NeoCab?
They pee in the car. I'm talking about real life.
A little bit of NeoCab.
NeoCab. That was one of the ones where you choose conversations, and if you choose the wrong conversations, they rate you badly.
Oh, I remember that one. It was kind of like a visual novel thing, right? Yeah, there was a demo. I played a little bit of it.
It reminded me a little bit of that Valhalla game where you're like making drinks for people.
Yeah, it's very similar. That's actually kind of my jam. Is those kinds of games?
Yeah. What do you think of this Dave the Diver plus Dredge thing, Jeremy? Do you know anything about that? That's like our two favorite indie games.
I just know what we saw.
As some beautiful thing. I don't know. I don't know what it means.
It's like I should play Dredge and you should play Dave.
It's basically Dave the Diver DLC where they will put like Dredge thematic stuff in it.
Can you make those like weird infected fish that you can find in Dredge and use magic to lightning bolt the water like you can in Dredge? Like in Dredge, you can just like throw magic into the water and kill all the fish in it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they incorporate it in some way.
Hold on, I beat Dredge. I 100%ed it. I never lightning bolted the water.
There was like a magic bomb you could do to blow up fish in the water. You never did that? I beat it too.
No. I will reinstall Dredge just to understand what you're talking about. I think
you could totally bomb the fish in the water.
Maybe it was like an ability to stop one of the giant creatures.
No, you could kill him. I mean, it was a thing you got later. I don't know. I swear it was in there because I played it too, all the way till credits. I got both the endings.
I'm not saying I don't disagree with you. I'm saying is that I probably missed a core mechanic. Joel, did it happen again? Joel, it happened again, didn't it?
You need to start making a list of the times
this is Near Automata. Wait, you can lock on target?
Yeah.
Well, I nearly missed out. So in Dave the Diver, there's a farming mechanic, which makes it a lot easier.
Okay, what is the mechanic that existed in a game that you you entirely missed? And
I was almost done with the game when I found out about it because we had our friend on the podcast. He told me about it. I'm like, wait, what? And it was because I was supposed to like make food for this one guy that I was just kind of ignoring. And I could have gotten the farm at the very beginning of the game, but I was damn near to the credits when I figured out.
So if I remember right, Final Fantasy IX, the leveling up system included like wearing certain armor long enough to gain those abilities. I didn't touch that through the majority of the game.
You didn't learn new abilities?
No.
Jesus. No wonder you didn't like that game.
It didn't help, but it's like, am I going to go back to it anytime soon? I don't know about that.
I'll have to. I don't know. I bought the DLC for Dredge, like the new stuff. So I'll have to go back and play it again. But I remember there was some sort of magic thing you could do where you could kill the fish in the water and you didn't have to like go through the little fishing game and all that. And I went through all
of Near Automata without knowing you could lock on target. So I just free aimed the entire game, and I was like, man, this game is real tough, guys.
I thought you were going to say you went through the whole thing and never played it again, because isn't that the idea that you're supposed to play it? Like 20 times, and then it gets good.
Yeah, 3 times. Yeah. Did you? What is a mechanic that you missed?
A mechanic that I missed?
Yeah, like you missed in any game, like a game. Yeah,
that I didn't know about.
That would have made things easier for you, probably.
I don't know. Like I'm trying to. I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I mean, I'm sure there was something that we talked about on this podcast where I was like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. I've still never learned how to set tables on fire in AEW Fight Forever, but I've seen people do it. So I think you have to have your special up and have a table in your hands at the same time, and you can set the table on fire as your special move. But I haven't done it. But I've seen it on the internet.
I think that the Game Awards, like I know that there wasn't like too much like Switch specific stuff, but I definitely like the Game Awards, if only just because I'm like, yeah, this is just like E3 again. Like, give me like some good, like, even though I wish that it had more to do with awards and developers, I'm also like, well, I'm not gonna watch this cool trailer for a game that I'd probably play in a year or two.
Yeah, I mean,
I was gonna say, like,
it's like a lot of these you'll forget about.
E3's dead.
Yeah,
officially. So it was officially announced this week. So the Game Awards are probably going to keep being whatever the fuck they want if they're like the only thing that's left.
I mean, yeah, you got to imagine
Jeff
you got to imagine that Keighley just kind of wants to meet celebrities, and then like, he was like to have your game on there. Like someone said, the numbers were like $50,000, and like so
that's why they cram as many ads as they can because they're getting paid for each one.
Yeah, it's like the Super Bowl. So at a certain point, like. Keeley's like, man, people sure are mad, but also I'm just gonna like, cry into my money.
But football, but the Super Bowl has football in it. That's the thing. This isn't like this isn't a thing called Super Bowl, and it has like 2 minutes of passes, and that's it, and the rest of it's fucking commercials. Like that'd be.
But terrible. I'm watching Super Bowl for those ads. I'm not watching Super Bowl for that game.
But they're not ads being broken by ads. Or
I mean, I'm watching it for football.
Ads. To be fair, the only ads that were the only kind of real ads I would
all
say
game ads
in the Game Awards were like, oh, here's a truth ad.
Oh yeah,
the truth ad was funny
there
too.
There were a
because
couple
the first
anti-vape
time,
ads, but they always have those.
The first one that came up, and I can't remember what it was, but I just remember at the beginning being like, "Ooh, this looks like an interesting game."
Yeah,
and then it wasn't.
It's true. It's true.
I mean, there was
a vaping game.
I mean, there was Switch stuff. We'll get into the Fortnite stuff. I was going to say, like, I think that was the true winner of the Game Awards was the announcement of the 3 new Fortnite shit that's on there. But what was it? Big Walk, by the Goose Game people, where you're like these weird ball guys and you can steal binoculars from each other or something. I have no idea what this game is, but I'm sure everybody will play it when it comes out.
I'm into it.
Well, Jeff Keighley said he got to try it and it was fun.
I love every time that Keely's like, guys, I got it first. I played it before you. I got it, guys. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
By the way, I played this a week ago.
You should never listen to anything he says. There was a Windblown, the one from the people who did Dead Cells. Like, that'll be on Switch.
Oh, yeah.
Exciting.
Rise of the Golden Idol. I don't know what that one is, but
I assume it's a Golden Idol game, which is those like detective.
Oh yeah. It kind of looks like a weird point and click thing. Everybody's face.
Yeah, because they have like in the Golden Idol a game that came out last year, Curse of the Golden Idol. There we go.
The what is it? Tales of Kenzaru Zhao, the one that had the guy from that weird HBO show presented it. I don't know if you ever watched that show where they were like the robot people that like lived on a planet. It was really fucking weird.
Westworld.
No. That was different. They were like these. They were kind of like robotic, but it was like produced by like Ridley Scott, and they wore these like silver suits, and they had like kids with them, and there was this whole like overly religious thing that they were trying to escape from. But
I know what you're talking about.
But the first season ends with them like going into the Earth, and there's a giant, really fake-looking snake down there. And then they did a whole another second season after that, and it got even weirder. I can't remember what it was called, but it was a fucking weird ass
Land
show.
of the Lost.
And one of my favorite characters was that guy
called?
who presented that. I can't remember the name of it.
No, what did you guess it?
No, I said Land of the Lost. I don't think it's
No, Land of the Lost was like about 50 years before this came out.
Man, because I'm into that show. That show sounds sick. Telling you right now, the show sounds sick. The Curse of the Golden Idol is a game that's on Steam that is like a detective game, and so there seems like they're going to make a version or another game on Switch. That's the Golden Idol game.
And I think there's a good chance that Mana game will be on Switch eventually. You know.
Oh yes.
Whatever the new. I mean, that one was cool. I like that trailer. I was like, hey. Well, I mean, I couldn't tell it was a Mana game, but it looked like a Square game when I saw it. So I was like, hey.
Square has a very specific look. What else do we get? Anything else?
Now I want to find that weird show that I'm never going to find now. Look for a weird HBO show with Snake in Earth. See if you can find that. You'll probably find it actually with those parameters. I guess we can. What did they? Let's see. What did I have? Anything else I wanted to say shit at the Game Awards about? Oh yeah, we all owe Jeremy $5 because Baldur's Gate won. So. Let me know how to send you $5, and I'll send you $5. I don't know. I don't know if you want it through like Zelle or whatever or anything.
Just send me $5 of Bitcoin.
I don't have Bitcoin, so sorry.
That's probably like 0.002 Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I was trying to vote for the dark horse that it was going to be Spider-Man, and then it was entirely skunked.
Spider-Man didn't win. It didn't win anything.
Yeah, it didn't win anything.
Spider-Man got no awards. There was some Nintendo stuff that won shit. Like Pikmin won Best Sim Strategy Game. That one was like really done really fast. Mario Wonder won Family Game, and Doug Bowser did a little speech for that. You know, whatever. Zelda won Action Adventure. I never played Alan Wake, but that Alan Wake musical shit was fucking confusing as shit to me. Do any of you know what that means? What the Alan Wake musical was? Because I was like, I don't know what's happening here, and I don't like it.
You played Control, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, there was no musical number in it.
Then you did not play enough Control.
Or is that later? I mean, I never beat it.
There was an experience closer to the end.
Yeah. So the main explanation is that Remedy, all of their games, they like to do multimedia stuff. So there'll be puppet shows, cartoons, full live action TV shows. Alan Wake 2 has a full 20-minute short film.
I do remember stuff from Control where you'd see like weird shit playing through the TV, like when you go in the rooms.
Yes,
I do remember that.
There's multiple episodes of that show. There's different like puzzle stuff, and there's all this different stuff. And that was also in Max Payne, and now with Alan Wake 2, there's like a very popular like musical number that he is stuck in like a dark place. Have you guys seen Twin Peaks?
Oh yeah, multiple times.
So
third season
Alan
too.
Wake, Alan Wake
what
is just
year
Twin
is it?
Peaks. So Alan Wake is just Twin Peaks.
That was the end of season 3. If you haven't seen it.
Like in fact, the first Alan Wake game takes place in the same town with the same coffee shop. Like that kind of Twin Peaks. And in this case,
have those same cups, like the brown cups they drink?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And so at the end, like just like Twin Peaks, at the end he gets trapped in the dark place, the backwards place, just like
The Black
when
Lodge.
Twin Peaks. Yeah.
Yeah, the Black
And
Lodge.
so in the second game, it's him trying to find his way out, while on the other side, a detective is trying to find him, and they're trying to like cross paths. But anyway, in the Dark Lodge, he ends up in a weird like musical number that's happening, and the song is him play like they're basically singing the plot of the game while you're fighting enemies, and on top of that, it's actually fully rendered live action music video.
Oh, weird.
While around you while you're playing the game as your character, and including the actor. There's the guy who does the voice acting looks exactly like Alan Wake, so he as a live action person is there while you're playing that character, and that's why that musical number had like the character who plays Alan Wake there looking like Alan Wake with a band, in that band. They were recreating that musical number in the game.
If any of your listeners want to also see something similar and control the sections called ashtray maze, so you could just like YouTube that, and I'm sure there's a let's play that'll show you exactly that kind of like
and it's also
multimedia big musical number event kind of thing.
And since it's a Remedy, that's actually their like one of their favorite like friend bands. They are it's the band
it's Of the Fall is the name.
They were in Control, and they were also this Alan Wake 2 number.
And Alan Wake won like the most awards, right? Or no? Well, I guess I don't know. Between that and Baldur's Gate, who won the most? Because Alan Wake, I'm looking at 3 right now. Alan Wake got best narrative, best art direction,
got 6 or 7,
best game direction. I only see 1 for. Well, okay, there's 2 for Baldur's Gate.
And again, with Alan Wake, it's really just about like
3.
The multimedia presentation of it all the different
4.
things that happen in that game, and how weird and wonky it gets.
5. Yeah, they got more.
And obviously, like Twin Peaks, people like Twin Peaks.
Have any of you actually seen the 3rd season of Twin Peaks? The later stuff, the return,
the Showtime one?
Yeah.
I am getting it for Christmas as a gift. Someone already told me they bought it for me. And then Getty, because he loves Alan Wake, our co-host, but he's never seen Twin Peaks. So me and him, I got the full box set, including the new stuff. So me and him are going to watch it all.
Okay.
Wow.
If you need anybody to explain it to you, call me up. That's probably the one TV show I've watched the most all the way through.
I've seen
Have
the
you
original.
seen that? The music video that there's like a music video that David Lynch directed that went up on YouTube not that long ago. And it's guy saying he's a song called "I Am the Shaman." You should check it out.
I've seen that. Yeah,
I mean, I've seen a lot of his weird. I mean, I used to go to his website and watch like the rabbits and all that weird shit that was on there. So I mean, I've seen.
You should definitely, if you like Twin Peaks, you should play there is a cloud version of Alan Wake on Switch.
No, it's not a cloud version. It's a native version of the first one.
Okay.
Yeah. And I also have Alan Wake on PlayStation Plus for PlayStation. I just, there's only like 2 billion games that came out this year, so I didn't really get around to it yet.
I played the first Alan Wake, but I don't remember it.
There might be a lull.
There was a flashlight.
There might be a lull next year.
I hope so.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I have like how many 100-hour RPGs to get through? Is there anything else you want to say about the Game Awards? I was really happy that Last of Us won and not Mario Brothers the movie. So that was great. I was excited for that because that movie shouldn't get anything.
Yeah.
I feel like The Last of Us was such prestige television, and the Tealies want to have a feeling of prestige. So I felt like it was the odds.
They really
favorite.
do.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great series. It should be the winner. But
I mean, if they want to, I mean, I'm sure everybody talks about what they should be doing, but if they want to actually have some prestige, they should, at least like pretend to give a shit about your awards. Like, come on. Like,
they didn't even mention anything about The Witcher.
I mean, in a weird way, you should almost feel insulted that this is what the Game Awards is, because it tells you that the makers of the Game Awards, this is what we think of you.
I mean, it's pretty much. I mean, do you remember the Spike TV Game Awards from like the early or the late aughts or whatever? We're pretty much there again, where it's like, why is this game in this category? It's not that. Like, what the fuck? Why?
But at least that
what is a family game? Nobody knows.
The Spike Awards knew Spike Awards knew well enough to know that like it didn't deserve any recognition, and they sent Joel McHale just to dunk on gaming.
Which was like the worst, though. It was like the most insulting thing ever.
Oh, it was funny. Come on.
I hated it. I hated it. That's cringy.
I mean, this is pretty cringy too.
Yeah, but I'll at least take someone that's like, hey guys, we sure are glad to be here, as opposed to like someone being like, you gamers sure need to shower.
I'm not saying I want it now. I'm saying I appreciate it for what it was.
Maybe they can mix them up for next year. It can be a little bit of that, like a little pleasure to be here, a little bit. Fuck you, gamers.
It's like what was it, G4? Was that the name of the TV channel back in the day? Mm-hmm. But then you go to Adam Sessler's Twitter, and it's an absolute nightmare to see the kind of stuff he posts online. So I mean,
X-Play was pretty fucking brutal too. Like if you watch any of those old reviews of like Japanese games and like just how incredibly racist they were so bad. Like watch the review of Baten Kaitos, like when that game came out on GameCube. Like they are like really shitty, really shitty. All sorts of stuff that you could never say and never exist anymore.
I remember seeing some EGM articles and reviews too that were very in poor taste. But like that's a sign of what the maturity was and the fan base domestically was of gaming, I suppose. But
or what they thought of the fan base.
Yep.
Like you said.
Yeah, pretty much anything on JRPGs at that time, they really got shit on. It's like, okay. You didn't know.
So I was disappointed we didn't get any sort of Elden Ring announcement, which is kind of funny because I remember 2 years ago, not like thinking it was so dumb when the big pot came out.
Yeah.
And not caring about it at all. And now 2 years later, I'm like, that's the main reason I watched it, was because I was like, surely they're going to talk about the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC.
I would definitely like to uninstall that game, but it's still on there because I'm waiting for the DLC.
Yeah, I haven't played it in quite a while, but it's one of the best games I've ever played, and I want more.
I feel like they made an action category and an action adventure category just so they could give the Armored Core game an award. If they just created that just so they could get an award. It's like, what is the difference between action and action adventure? I don't know. Or you could just call it adventure and just take action out. But it's like, well, we got to give Zelda an award and we got to give Armored Core an award. So here's the Armored Core category.
Mech games could just have their own award, right?
Like a participation trophy.
Yeah. I mean, Armored Core seems pretty good.
It is.
I want to play it, but I also...
That's what I hear.
Don't.
I heard Brian Dressel liked it. All right.
Like I have a feeling I would get it.
He really liked it. Yeah.
That was the one thing I read his Game of the Year list, and he was talking about that, and I just started laughing. It's like, started screaming about Armored Core.
But enough about the Game Awards. Let's go past that. How about you? How about Alex and Joel? What have you been playing for the week? Let's do that. Let's do the thing on our show where we talk about games that we got and games that we've been playing. If you want to talk about stuff aside from whatever your Game of the Year stuff is, or if you want to talk about that. I don't normally do the outline, so that's why it's kind of like all over the place, because I don't really know how to do that outline, because John normally does it, but he's too busy. So,
for me, I am currently reviewing Born of Bread.
I was really interested in that game. I thought it looked cool, and there's a demo out, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah,
it's very much Paper Mario, and like right now that's what we need, right? More of that like Paper Mario kind of RPG style, where it's like you have the action button prompts for attacks, but still kind of a JRPG sensibilities. I'm liking it. It's just it is also throwing a lot of humor at me in a way that it, like at a certain point I'm just like, okay, I got it. Yeah, this is a very funny situation. Let's move on. But it's good. It's good. It's fun. It's very well done. The characters are very cartoony, flat kind of style characters, and when they turn like 2D flat.
Yeah. Like the like what was that bug game that was on there? Bugs Life, or no? That's a movie.
Bug Fable.
Yeah, something like Fables. That. Yeah, where it was like Paper Mario, but they were bugs.
Yeah,
like that sort of thing.
Yeah, and this is another one of those, and it's done very well. I just have a couple of gripes on just how hard it's hitting the humor. So that's the only thing.
You played that SkaterXL game too, right? I just saw that you put up a review of that.
Yeah, I played SkaterXL on the Switch. It is a port of the PC game. There was also Session, the skateboarding simulator on Switch that came out earlier in the year. The skateboarding sim genre is really heavy right now, and they're both like those are the two main heavy hitters, and they were racing to try to get to Switch. Session has a lot more things, like as in like you can change your stats and there's a story mode, but it runs like absolute trash. And SkaterXL has none of that. It's just straight, okay, skateboarding. Here's your one stick is 1 foot, one stick is the other foot. Go, here's some maps. And is there missions? Is there point system? No? Okay. But it runs 60 FPS.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, anything that can run 60 on Switch, hooray. I'm curious because, there was like all these, we talked about it before on here. There was like no skating games, and now there's a bunch of skating games. So it's like skateboarding games. Yeah. Like you can find a bunch of them. There's like 6 or 7 of them on Switch now, at least. So I'm always kind of curious.
SkaterXL in and of itself is just like, it's a really heavy skateboarding sim. And it's just you have to practice to get good. And what is getting good? Just like you looking at a trick and then saying, I want to do this trick. And then you do the trick and you feel satisfied on your own. It's a tech deck. It's just having a tech deck next to your desk, and then you just practice and try to get tricks. And then you feel good because you did the thing you wanted to do. And so with that, I will not recommend SkaterXL to anybody, but at the same time, I played SkaterXL 3 hours a day for 4 days a week on Switch, and then I also I'm at 600 hours on Steam.
Oh wow!
Oh,
so
this is a game for a certain audience.
I love it. It's one of my favorite games. I will never uninstall this game ever from anything. But at the same time, this game is for like out of like 100 people, this game is for 2 people.
Yeah.
Does it have a good soundtrack at least?
No.
Oh, well then get out of here.
Yeah. No, it doesn't
have skateboards.
I mean, you gotta at least have a cool soundtrack on there. If you're a skateboard game, you gotta have some hip tracks. Like for real.
Okay, it's got the problem is that it just doesn't have enough.
Like some Huey Lewis or something.
It's got like probably 10 to 20 songs, and then in the way you're playing it, you hear them all a lot. So I just turn off the music instantaneously.
Like Tony Hawk 1 on 64. That has like 5.
Yeah, exactly.
It has like 3 songs maybe.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, I've heard this song. Exactly. So that's where I'm like, okay, I don't need this. I got the review code, and I'm like, great. First thing, menu, turn off music, done. Let's go. Yeah. So SkaterXL is a good. If you want 60 FPS skateboarding, it's great. If you want story mode, stats, menus, and other things, this is not the game for you. If you want an actual video game, this is not. This is hobbyist software. This is Tank Mechanic Simulator.
So say this is definitely sim category.
Yeah, and like the thing is, like there's like a level of sim now that I'm like super into, where it's like Power Wash, which is also like fun and approachable, no fail state, and it has a cute story. This is not that. This is hobbyist software, where it's not even a game. It's there for you to just do the thing.
I'm sure you played like Skate and all that, right? Like, I mean, you got a shirt of it right there, or maybe that's just skating in general.
I'm in the beta. I'm in the beta right now for the new one. Yeah,
because I never really played the ones on next gens or whatever, but I did play the Skate game on Wii, and that game was fun because you would hold the Wiimote to like ollie or to like manual, and that was cool. Like you would hold it to balance, like in the and I was like, that's neat, because you could do moves with motion and all that stuff, and that had a good soundtrack too. I liked the music on there, so.
There's also the Tony Hawk ride that had a full skateboard.
Yeah. Tony Hawk
you can ride on. Yeah.
And the funny thing about Skated on Wii is that they made it to where it was like the end of the world, so that was why there was no one there, so they could make it like run better. So there's like you're the only person on Earth. Like everywhere you go, there's no people there, and it was the explanation was that they're all dead. Except for you. Go skateboard.
So you don't have to worry about cops telling you to stop skating on that.
Yeah. It was a really weird choice, but sure. It was fun. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
In Skate 2, that they gave you the same map, but a huge earthquake hits, and now the map is almost completely different. It's like, oh, okay.
It'd be funny if like all the people are dead, and then like your skateboard breaks, and you go, "It's not fair." It's
I
not.
had time now.
I'm sure you could find a whole like store of skateboards where you could go get more. It's like yeah. I know you're talking about the Twilight Zone guy. It's like you can hold the books close to your face, dude. Like nobody's gonna judge you. Everybody's dead. Come on. I think they did a Futurama joke about that where like his eyeballs fall out. He's like,
Yeah.
I can still read the braille and his hands fall off. Like that's funnier.
That is funny.
And just to finish it out,
Audiobooks.
the Back to the Future DLC dropped for Power Wash Simulator, and it is fantastic.
So I was going to mention this in my.
I want to say one thing. I know you want to talk about Power Wash Simulator. I just want to say one thing about it. I always really wanted to play it on Switch, but I feel like this is a game that you need to play on like PS5 or something like that, right? So it'll look really, really pretty because the Switch one does not look good. So I never played it. But now I have it on PS4, a PS Plus, and I'll get around to playing it at some point whenever I get bored with Lego 2K Drive, which is awesome. So
I imagine it would be not much different on the 4 than 5. I guess one thing I really like about it is like I'm learning about what stuff's made out of. Like I watched a dirt bike and I got to find out what all the pieces were like.
Yep.
And I will say my fiance hates it when I play it. Like
because
I had to turn the sound off. Well, I had to turn the sound off because the sound was annoying her.
Is it just
Oh, it is. And I didn't know about the nozzle to make it continuously spray. So
no hip soundtrack.
No, it's just some like some like pretty generic music. But
I thought it might be like
I do really like it. And once I figured out that like you can go through the list and like see each individual element, like you might have missed it makes it a little easier. Now I will say like towards the end of each level, I'm like maybe pulling my hair out a little bit because I'm like, okay, there's one little tiny speck somewhere and I can't find it. And
the scan, right? The scan button.
Yeah, the scan. Sometimes I'll still like not see it. Anything. I'm like, where the hell is it?
What I do is like it'll tell you like sometimes on a list, like it'll say like you need to get this one thing, and I'll just start moving like my cursor around everything, and it'll tell me what every piece is. I'm like, no. Okay,
that's a good idea. I didn't think about that. Yeah. What I did was I just turned on like my wide range like sprayer and started going because it was like saying I was missing something on a stepping stone, and I knew there were X amount of stepping stones, and then I was, which one is it? And I couldn't find the little speck, so I just went over them all with the water, just like crazy, and
they have a meter,
like you win,
right?
Yeah,
they have a clean to dirty meter, so it's like I just rub my like cursor all over it until I see one little speck of white that says, "Oh, their meter's not done." Okay, that's the one.
But it's kind of crazy how like detailed it is, like in the sense of you have to clean everything. Like you got to get down on you got to like army crawl and get underneath the bottom shelf of this thing. There's dirt under there.
And then like there's like a story about like time travel. There's a time travel story.
See, I haven't like picked up on too much of the story other than just like the narrative, like getting to know the characters that are talking to you and all that. But people get their shit real dirty in this game. Like, I mean, everything is just like it looks like it was like dipped in like chocolate or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean that's how you can get how you want to get the full experience, right? The dirtier it is, the more like satisfying it is to clean it all off. You know, you don't want it to be like just
I was
a little
a little bit daunted by the soaps, but they're not as bad.
I never touched the soaps. The
soaps help a lot.
Yeah, I just never.
But they run out too fast.
I just got the most powerful nozzle ever. And I'm like, okay, now the soap is useless. I don't even need it.
So there must be some sort of leveling system because I had enough money to buy like better nozzles, but it wouldn't let me buy them.
Yeah, I think you got to go up the chain. Okay. I will say what's also cool is that the DLC have their own little mini stories. And so the Back to the Future one that just dropped, you were talking to a PA who's helping you're helping clean the sets, and he's like, I don't know what this movie's about, but I'm gonna guess. And I think it's about this. And then he just each time you get like 25% done, he sends you a bunch of listed text where he's talking to you and he's like, okay, so I think the doctor has a fear of heights, and he's gonna go through exposure therapy, so he's gonna climb on the clock tower. And he's like making up his own story to what happened in the movie because he's not really paying attention. And that's what's kind of funny is that you just get like a wild like summation, like what he's like surmising with very little evidence about what he thinks the movie's about, despite they're not done yet. And you obviously cleaning locales. You clean the theater outside where there's actually a spot where you go, if you stand in this one spot, it does the thing. And I was like, what's the thing? And it does the fake hologram Jaws that attacks Marty McFly. Yeah. And you get a
2015.
In the version I'm playing, you get trophies, and the trophy says still looks fake. Shark still looks fake.
It would be funny if they would if they would explain like the plot of it, like all the kids did to me, like when I saw it first. Like nobody understood what that was. I don't know if you had this when you were a kid, but every kid I saw that with, they all thought that Marty went to the future because the title was Back to the Future, and I would always try to have to explain to people that he went back to the 50s, but everybody thought he went to the future in the first one because they're kids and they're dumb.
No, he needs to make it back to the future because he's in the past.
Back to the future.
Yeah, but they didn't. Nobody understood that at the time when they were all like 6 or whatever when it came out. They're like, no, he's in the future. I was like, no, it's his fucking mom. Like seriously.
Yeah, his mom was real horny.
Yeah, she was.
I want to know about the.
So was his dad.
I want to. Yeah, well, his dad's
like
whatever,
like sex offender horny.
Yeah. I want to know about the Final Fantasy. Isn't there like Final Fantasy 7 shit where you can wash like Cloud's bike and stuff like that also because it's a Square game?
There's Final Fantasy 7. There's SpongeBob. There's Tomb Raider. And
are you cleaning off like a low poly Lara Croft?
I was like, are you cleaning Lara Croft?
That'd be hilarious.
No, you do her bike. You do
Speaking
her
of horny.
You do her obstacle course. You do the front of the mansion.
Okay.
And you do like another one I can't remember. But yeah, usually they come with like 5 different sections. And in Final Fantasy 7, it's just the characters kind of, gabbing away at you, but it's like, one of them is like Tifa, you're cleaning the bar, and Tifa's like, man, the guys are sure gonna like this. This will be a real nice surprise for them. And then you're kind of like going over the history. But like the other times you're in the Shinra building and you're cleaning the big scorpion tank, and they're like, damn those avalanche. And then like you see like the building start to shake while you're cleaning the scorpion tank, and all of a sudden they're like, hurry up and clean it. The avalanches, they're here again. And this time I think we're gonna get them with this scorpion tank, and you're cleaning it for them before it attacks avalanche. There's like little silly stuff like that. It's pretty fun.
I got to clean the Mars rover.
Yep.
So I'm just playing whatever is included with the game. So the Mars rover was cool because like I figured out that I could jump. I didn't realize I could jump, and I'm like, whoa! The gravity's less on Mars, so you jump much higher. I think
most of the DLC is free. There's just like a couple of.
I just have to find where to download. Maybe it's through the store.
Yeah, because I think that the paid one is SpongeBob and Back to the Future.
Okay.
I'm waiting for. There's a Warhammer 40K one coming.
Wow.
And I'm ready for that one.
Can clean like guns.
Anyway, though, it's definitely not one like as exhibited by my partner. I don't think it's something to like to entertain someone else while you're playing it. It's very cathartic. It's very much like if it was like Mario Sunshine was micromanaging you to just clean.
For me, it's just a podcast game. It's an unwind game.
I was going to say it'd be a good editing game. I'm sure, like to put on while I'm editing.
One screen's got YouTube, one screen's got the game, and I'm just like, that is pretty interesting YouTube video. Oh, this is also dirty.
Some essay about like Roman coins found in bog or something.
I was rewatching the series, like the Doom 2 mod Home. I was rewatching that essay about what that was and how creepy that thing was, and I was like, man, this is pretty creepy. Man, this Mars rover sure is dirty.
I got to clean it off so it can go around Mars.
Yeah,
but they do have like the little like drone helicopter thingies flying around, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, got a good attention to detail.
Do you mind if we take a break, and then I promise that we'll talk about Joel's games when we come back?
All good.
Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go!
And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and, hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
We're back from the break. As I said before we went to break, Joel, tell me about games that you like to play.
Yeah, so I'm in writing season, which means less game season. But one that I picked up not too long ago that's really taught me is Voice of Cards: Beasts of Verdant. For those uninitiated, there was a series of these games announced way back when now. Yoko Taro, the person behind Nier Automata, the name being behind this as well. And ever since I played Nier Automata, like Yoko Taro has my "I'm gonna give it a try sometime" card. Like I'm gonna notice if you have your name crop up. So this game, I'm not a big RPG person. I should start off with, like, my extensive experiences really doesn't go beyond PS1 RPGs. And what I appreciate about Voice of Cards is that it's very streamlined. So like these games are played out in chapters, and traversing around the world, everything on the ground is a deck of cards splayed across in a grid, and you move step by step, and as you move closer to a line of uncovered cards, it reveals itself like you're walking through the world. And it has a random encounter battle thing where if you hit enough tiles, you get into battle. The combat set is each of your characters has their own strengths and weaknesses, but also you install cards into their sort of deck that acts as their moves or abilities and things, which is kind of cool because it creates this neat little variety. It kind of reminds you of like back in 7 where I could slot materia to different people in your team and make them nice and versatile and sort of create your own character kind of thing going on. It does the whole gem thing. So like if you're used to the Hearthstones of the world, it's like you collect a gem every round. There are moves you can do that can increase gems, but then a lot of your power moves are going to be expend 1, 2, 3 gems to enforce this. And one of the hooks of the art of the combat is that at the end of some matches, you will get treasures, and you choose from 1 of 3, and some of them will be monster cards, and the monster cards are those abilities that you equip people with a 1 to 5 star rating, which dictates how effective or powerful their move is, or it'll lower the die roll count for success, things like that. And so it creates this really neat thing of wanting to get that out of that 3 card shuffle choice, or there's a beast master in the town and stuff that can do that too. But the combat itself, it's engaging. The fights are interesting. The creatures have all been pretty unique in terms of the bosses. So functionally speaking, I'm enjoying it quite a bit. I also, there's something about the story. I don't know what it is. It starts out with you accomplishing the protagonist's main goal. Like the premise is, I am this woman on a course for revenge for this monster who destroyed my village. And before you're done with the first chapter, you felled the monster with a boy you meet along the way. And then it sort of ends in like, oh, well, now what? And it's a weird place for some of these to start, because I would usually think like you would start in the RPG as younger person experiencing the village thing, and then the story would be going on this epic quest to then exact revenge. And it's like starting the story at the end of a normal story. So I kind of found that interesting.
Does it go places from there though?
It does. So like there is a continuing story on. I haven't found like a big bad yet beyond that. So it's still very much like we are wandering from place to place and just letting the chain of events lead us to where we're going to go next. So it's very much that we're on a journey thing and haven't found our next goal or purpose kind of thing. But the starting point just really threw me off.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
visually,
I've heard a lot of good things about that game, and I know they did a good amount of DLC for it too. So
there's also 3 of them.
Right, there's 3 of them. The presentation is really nice. All the cards are beautifully hand drawn. They don't have any expressions, so every time that something's moving, it's like the face doesn't change. The card will sort of like wiggle or move or something. Perfect. Or if they're attacking, they'll shuffle forward towards the other card, like you're actually playing like a magic match, something like that. The music it's not like stand out amazing like you might hear from Nier, but it's very good, very appropriate music for the kind of tonal shape they're looking to have. And there's no voice acting except for a narrator. So it's very much like I'm being read a storybook as I'm playing through this. And that goes back to the streamline, because a lot of RPGs, it's like most of the story is dialogue between 1, 2, 3, 4 characters, more so than even the chain of events, where it's the inverse in this way, where it's like most of the time is focused on the actions happening and taking a chain of events, and you might get a little bit of back and forth here and there as you go through. So yeah, so for somebody on my schedule, it's like I can put this on Switch for a half hour, an hour, get through a dungeon, maybe get to the next town, cool, and now I can pick it up later. It's a really good fit for me.
Yeah, I do think it's cool that like this is a Square game, right? Too, right? A Square Enix game.
It is.
It's yep. I think it's cool that they will do like weird shit like this. I mean, they did a few of these, you know, like Alex was saying, there's like 3 of them, but it kind of reminds me of, did you ever play Dungeon Encounters? Like that's kind of how that game is too, where it's just like a dungeon map, and you move around, and there's random battles, but like there's no animation. It's just like hit point, and it's very, very super simple ass RPG, and it's great. And I loved it. And it was made by the guy who created like the original the original turn-based battles of like Final Fantasy IV and all that. And
what was that called again?
Dungeon Encounters is what it's called.
Dungeon Encounters. Okay.
Like look at it. It's
right.
It is like one of the simplest looking games. Like it does not like it's not great in any way graphically, but it's fun if you really want to play.
But it's a recent one too.
If you want to play a simple ass RPG. I mean, not that it's easy. It's not easy by any means. It's hard. There's permadeath. You know, you have to find party members by going to specific squares and like coordinates and all that. And Yeah, I thought it was cool. And
That's
yeah,
a cool looking one.
the idea
Yeah,
is
it
the
is.
idea is to like cover every square of the map before you get to the next get to the next level, and there's like level on level on level, and it gets very complicated and all that. But I like stuff like that. That's just let's like make it really really simple, but also hard as fuck. Why not?
There's something to be said for like distilling a genre or a type of movie or something down to its like most basic function, and then using that template to try to, see how you can make it challenging. I appreciate stuff like that. But yeah, I'm gonna wish list that. Yeah, I mean, hard not to recommend voice of cards. Beyond that, really, the things I've been playing are so Fortnite came out with Rocket Racing.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're like all three of us kind of have all been playing this. Like I saw it on Game Awards. I love racing games, so when there was racing added to Fortnite, I was like, oh, I have to try that. But then there's also Rock Band, and there's also Minecraft or whatever. There's all this extra shit. But yeah, Rocket Racing. I thought it was pretty cool. You can drive on you can drive on the ceiling. You can drive on the walls. I won a lot, so
you can fly.
So maybe people suck, or or I'm okay. I don't know.
I will say I won a lot more the first day when it first came out than I did 2 days later when I played it again.
Yeah, I only played it.
Either I got worse or people got better.
I basically played through whatever races were available there, and I was trying to. And it's like, get to a goal to accomplish a quest, but it's like you're bronze, and now you're bronze 2, and now you're bronze 3, and I'm like, how many fucking levels of bronze are there before you even get to silver? This is dumb. So I thought it was all.
I haven't paid much attention to the ranking. I just like wanted to see like all the courses, because that's one of the most fun parts about a racing game is just seeing the layout of the course and sort of like maybe how they try to change it up to make it unique. Which I wouldn't say there's much unique about the courses themselves, to be honest, but they do like, utilize the jumping mechanic to like put racing pads on this or, speed boosters on the ceiling and stuff like that. So you kind of, you kind of have to like juggle those mechanics and then also the power sliding is, I'm pretty sure is how you get the boost, right?
Yeah. And I was going to say, and power sliding to boost is always fun.
And the power sliding is very forgiving in this. I would say probably one of the most like easy to power slide games I've done.
And so far the tracks they've shown, the size are accommodating to really give you a lot of space to power slide. It's a wide window.
Oh yeah, and you can and people are power sliding like crazy. It's like snaking all over again.
I tried snaking. Snaking doesn't work.
It's like even when it's like a straightaway, you can still power slide and then power slide.
I tried, but I did. I was snaking down a straightaway, hoping like it would work, and I bet they like intentionally nerfed that before it was even a thing. Because it stops when you change directions that you're sliding, so your meter stops going up. It resets.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess I didn't try it in that way. We'd be going down a straight way, and then I would kind of curve.
I was like, if I could exploit something in this
multiplayer
game, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and try to do it again. It reminds me of that part in the Super Mario Brothers movie where Mario does a power slide for no reason on a straightaway. When they're it was like in the trailers. I'm like, he wouldn't do that. There's not a curve there. Like, it's stupid. It reminds me of that because people were doing that, like just doing this.
You basically needed
to
constantly power slide, try to hit every single boost pad, and you when you do the like super boost, you get then there's another moment where you like get a secondary boost as long as you like time it correctly.
Yeah. Right. There's a time bonus that's on there. So, and I couldn't figure out how to get any other cars because I think I have to buy a battle pass or something. But
I unlocked another car just through playing.
Oh, I didn't. Well, if I did, I don't know how to change it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
that menu for Fortnite is insane now. Like it looks like a Netflix menu with all the different tiles of options and menus and stuff. Because I remember the one time or two times I ever logged into it prior to that, you just pop in, it was like your profile and then hit start match and let's go. It's a busy stream.
Now you have to go to like, I want to go to the Travis Scott concert or I want to do
The Weeknd. you can play as the Weeknd if you want. You can be the Weeknd.
The Weeknd's in it?
On Fortnite.
A concert.
Yeah, you can be. You can. There's like 3 different Weeknd skins, and there's like a Weeknd skin where he's wearing like an MF Doom mask. Like, did I miss something? Like, did they have a crossover? I don't know. that I missed?
No.
Like he's wearing the fucking metal MF Doom mask. Like it's not anything different.
That's wild.
Maybe it's a shout out or something. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think they ever collabed. I think that was. I don't think there would have been a chance.
It would have been interesting
because Doom wasn't like from London, so he wasn't allowed to be in the States for the last several years.
Also, he
Before
drank a
passed
lot.
away. Yeah.
I went to a fake concert for him. Well, he didn't show up. Maybe that's why he didn't show up. Like I totally paid money to see him, and he was never there.
Well, he used to.
I guess he did.
Have other people show up. Yeah.
No, he did show up, but he showed up like 20 minutes before the place closed. Like I ended up leaving because I'm like, I'm paying too much money for drinks here, and I'm not having a good time. I'm going to a cheaper
he was
bar.
paying people to impersonate him.
I knew about that, but I guess the real one did show up like at the very, very end, at like 1 a.m. before last call or whatever. And it's like, okay, it was like on a Saturday night, so whatever. But there's a bunch of shit on there. It was
the racing game is probably the most like just outwardly fun of the three that came out. I would say like
because the Lego thing is
Lego
kind of
one's
like trying to be
fairly
like,
complex. Yeah,
I was gonna say I thought you would love the Lego thing. I saw a lot of people really building it up.
I do like it.
But it's not. But it's not what you think, though. It's like very like Minecrafty in a way that like.
Well, yeah,
it's weird because
it's Minecrafty, but it's also at the same time a little bit like Terraria or like Dragon Quest Builders, where you're like there's a lot of NPCs that you're like recruiting to do other stuff for you.
Oh yeah, I never got that far.
They're gonna like stay in your village, and you got to like accommodate them, and then as a result, they'll like do jobs to help out with the village and stuff, and then you end up leveling up the village. And I think the whole idea is like even though you can run wherever and do whatever you want, like you're supposed to just like stick to your like sort of like hub and build outward from there. But I keep trying to run really far away, and I found that there's definitely like a bit of a Breath of the Wild mechanic where you can get really hot or really cold and like start losing it like energy. And then you get hungry. There's a hunger meter, like that's like Minecraft. But
I noticed that at night where you couldn't leave the fire because it'd be like you're cold.
For some reason, like which I guess I could probably build my crafting table inside of a structure, but I didn't initially, and I just haven't moved it. But like you can't use it in the rain.
Yeah,
which is so dumb.
Yeah, I ran into that too. I was like,
I could do everything else. The campfire is still going. I mean, why can't I craft?
Well, it's definitely like Breath of the Wild then, because you can't do anything when it rains in that game. You got to wait for it to stop raining.
Get all
you can't climb
soggy.
anything.
It's gonna get all soggy.
Yeah, I remember in Breath of the Wild waiting because I couldn't climb anything because everything was all wet and slippery. Yep. It's like,
I definitely did that.
But I still want to I still think it's like the depth to it and the ease of like multiplayer because they're just integrating all that infrastructure that Fortnite already has. Like it's super approachable, super like fun as multiplayer, I would imagine. And yeah, I look forward to trying multiplayer at some point, but single player is still fairly fun.
We should do what we used to do on Minecraft where like I join your world or whatever.
Right. I ended up stop playing it and I'll talk about that a little bit more, but yeah. I felt like I didn't want to fall too deeply into it just yet.
I did like the Rock Band stuff in there just because it was actually worked a lot better on a controller than I thought it would. Just because it's like it just goes from out to in, so it's like left, right, Y, A. So you kind of hit them where they are and you don't have to strum or whatever. I just thought it was going to be terrible. I wouldn't be able to get through any of the songs, and I actually did play online and I beat people. So I thought it was going to be trash. So it was a lot better than I thought it would be. I'm really excited for them to add the guitar support, which they said they're going to, because we have a closet full of guitars and drum sets and shit that I would love to use, other than just have it occupy a closet.
You're gonna have to be able to like put it in there. Like, there's got to be a way to plug it in, I guess, unless they
USB
manufacture adapters or something.
But
they're not all USB.
Yeah, 90% of the ones that we have are USB. Like, obviously, if you have the PlayStation 2 ones, you won't be able to get it unless you get a USB adapter, which they do have. I've seen them. So, I have a GameCube to USB adapter. So, I would especially like to use the Wii one was my favorite, and like if I can do that somehow. But
my brother,
maybe you can Bluetooth it,
who's been on the show before. His kids have really been big on Fortnite, but it was very funny because they were this whole update happened, and then his kids he's like, oh, I know this. It's Rock Band. And his kids were like, you've played this before? He's like, this is definitely
Yes.
before you were born.
Played it like
before you were
20
born.
years ago.
Yeah.
It is like Harmonix that made it.
It is.
Yeah,
like
it's
people from
Harmonix,
Harmonix,
and then the
and-
Psionics, though they got bought by Epic.
So Epic just is buying everybody, and then like they exist in the world of Fortnite. Like Fortnite is like the metaverse of like like there's gonna be some
They're really fighting for the robots.
200
you know
years
what
in
I
the
mean?
future, people are gonna be like, why is this called Fortnite? Well, son, that was actually a
You
real
used to be able to
game at
build
one point.
walls, but you can't build walls
No.
anymore. Or you
No,
can, I guess.
I mentioned
don't
to
know.
somebody.
I play no build.
I mentioned to somebody recently. I was like, "You ever play Fortnite Saves the World?" No, no one did. I did. Not even really a thing anymore.
There was
It's
definitely
like
a moment.
it's like in the future in Demolition Man when all restaurants are Taco Bell. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, hey, so you guys want to play Fortnite? And like they all get together and they're just like playing poker.
Yeah.
every game is Fortnite.
Well, it's like when everybody said you're playing Nintendo no matter what you're playing, right?
Mhm.
Just gonna go play Nintendo. Yeah, no, I mean, I think Fortnite is cool again. Like we stream we stream every Monday, our Wrestle Chat or whatever we call it, where we talk about wrestling. We mostly play AEW, but this last one we played Fortnite and we won. I played once and won. So, but we had a we had a trio, and one of the guys we had a 3-people group, and Logan, one of the guys that I play with on the wrestling thing, he knew Fortnite pretty fucking well, and he told us where to go, and we killed everybody. So, but Fortnite is weird now. It's basically like Grand Theft Auto Online. You can jump in cars, you can drive, you can all jump in the same car and drive to places and jump out and shoot, and you can jump out of the car and shoot people while one person's driving. It's a whole different world, man. There's like a story where you can kill like a jacked Peter Griffin, and there's like a train that you can like rob from. That's like a whole nother story, and you can get all these special weapons from it. Like there's all these like quests and shit in it now. It's crazy.
And then for me, it's more like the IP range that you could do in there. It's like, okay, I'm gonna be Goku, but I'm gonna Kamehameha you and throw this giant super ball, and you're gonna be Slimer from Ghostbusters, and that's okay. And then someone's gonna be Will Smith, Mike Lowry from Bad Boys for some reason, and we're all gonna do the Wu-Tang dance, even though no one here knows what Wu-Tang is. Like that's this.
I will say I did try briefly. I tried the like Octo games, which I think's been in there for a while, but I tried that when I was trying all the other modes, and it's basically Squid Games, but like their version of it.
Games.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
It's like it's a bit like Fall Guys because it like
Okay.
narrows people down
shit.
each round.
Yeah, I didn't even.
But
see
it's
that
actual games like from the show and stuff, or from the actual Squid Game show, and you're like in the room with all the like bunk beds on the like risers.
Oh, cool.
Or your like hub. But I kept going up to people and like the best part was going up and dancing with people, and they would like be doing the shout, put your hands up and shout. Everybody's like dancing together a little bit softer now, and they're like going down, and it's really well like it's hilarious. Maybe people get burnt out on it if they've seen it a lot, but I hadn't seen it a lot. Shauna was watching me play and she was cracking up and then you could just run around and do songs with people and dance.
That's actually a really cool thing about the Rock Band, the Fortnite festival, is if there's like breaks where there's no guitar, you can do Fortnite dances like while you're waiting for the guitar to come back. And I thought that was really funny.
You actually do get extra.
So if you
like,
want to like
bonus points for
floss
that.
or whatever, which I never unlocked that because I never got Battle Pass, but if you want to do whatever your free dance numbers that I think mine is just like this one or whatever, you can do that while you're waiting for the guitar to come back. So
I like that they give you like you're getting all these like you're earning all these like medals or something, and it's like you have this many medals to spend when you get your battle pass. So they're like kind of trying to like we have all this waiting for you. You just gotta buy the battle pass.
Yeah, it's like you got.
Mom, can I have the battle pass?
It's like you got one piece of money, but if you had the battle pass, you'd get like 5 pieces. No, they probably give you more than that. But yeah, I was just looking through all the guys that are available, and it's like, yeah, the Weeknd's there, and like My Hero Academia, and like Mr. Meeseeks, and like
Ariana Grande,
and all. I mean, I guess they're always like by date, so
I think John
so
Stamos
not all of them
might
are
even be
still available. But Logan that we played with, like he had Ash from Evil Dead, and he had a fucking Necronomicon on his back, and the Necronomicon like the face like glows whenever you kill somebody. Like I'm like, okay, this is cool.
Right now, Eminem's in there for some reason.
And there's like a dance for Ash where the Deadite comes out of the ground and you like step on its head, and that's like a dance in the game. I'm like, okay.
What sucks about Eminem is he only has like one bullet for every gun because he only gets one shot.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't see Eminem on there, but
yeah, he was one of the ones that was unlocked this season. Is that he's in there, and he's like supposedly going to be having a concert in Fortnite again.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I
like-
imagine Fortnite's just like Fortnite. I imagine Epic's just handing like big chunks of money to be like, "Will you be in the game?" And then we'll scan you. Now you're in it forever.
On the news side, apparently they do want Nintendo in there, but Nintendo is like, no, or they're just not responding to them.
They
know
will
better.
eventually.
I remember like
there
all
was
these...
a Fortnite Switch, so
yeah, true.
it's not too far removed.
And there was a whole lot of rumors about Samus showing up in Fortnite and all that stuff. And
they could bring Donkey Kong
Never
into Fortnite store.
it could be part of Fortnite Festival, and then we can use the GameCube adapter and use our bongos, and it'll be fun. We can do that.
Nailed it.
But yeah, whatever. Fortnite's fun again for me. We'll see how long before I get bored of it. But it was fun to win on no build. But Logan was pretty much like, go over here, go kill Peter Griffin. I was like, yes, please. I hate that show.
My favorite by far is the base on the Stadium Stampede or whatever, not Stadium Stampede, but
we played that game too.
That's a different game. Yeah, that's. It just makes me want to actually play Guitar Hero because I just my brain keeps getting scrambled, and I'm playing on a PlayStation controller, and it's got the touchpad in the middle, so I keep accidentally touching the touchpad, and that's so frustrating because once you touch that, you're missing all the notes until you like cancel it out, and I keep accidentally hitting it, and I'm just like no, like, and I like was even trying like putting my like individual fingers and like because like in Guitar Hero you've got a finger assigned to each note pretty much. So doing it where I'm like using my thumbs like this, I don't like it that much. And it's kind of frustrating, but I find like for the drums, especially and the bass, like where it's a very like it's holding down the structure of the song, that's the most fun. Or even the vocals, but the guitar is like the least fun.
How does the vocals work? Like you're still
It's
pressing the buttons, right? Because you can't.
You're pressing the buttons
no mic.
to the like staccato of the vocals or whatever.
Okay, I didn't try that, but I was like, I wonder how that works. I was like, it can't be the microphone yet, but I'm sure they will.
And I actually thought that I was like
I
was holding up my face like I think you're gonna get to sing, and then it's just like no, you gotta hit the buttons.
Connect your phone to it and sing into your phone.
And I was like, I had Bad Guy all loaded up, ready to go.
Yeah. Is there anything else? Is there anything else you wanted to say about Fortnite?
I see a doggy.
That doggy been
it's a cute doggy.
Been the star. Been the star of this whole episode on the Patreon version.
So dogs have like their own version of the ACL, and their version of the ACL, it doesn't like tear per an event, it just happens to go away over time. And my dog had that knee surgery to repair it, and it sucks because it's like you stay in this little section of area, you can't run around, you can't do all the things you want to do, and all she wants to do is play, so it's real rough.
Oh, well, yeah.
Is she a little older?
I was wondering. I thought maybe you were trying to keep her from like destroying the rest of the house or something.
No, she's a great pup, but all she wants to do is sleep on the couch, and I'm like, I can't let you climb because your knee just had surgery.
Get her one of those steps. We got steps for our cat. One of our cats has like joint issues, and we got like stairs.
No, it's actually just the recovery from the surgery because
the dog just has to like not move.
Yeah,
I see what you mean now. Okay,
and so it's like, and it's for 8 weeks, and it's like, we're on week 5, baby. You're almost there. But she escapes, and she's like climbs over coffee tables and on top of end tables to get to that dang couch.
You're just like, no, your healing process.
She wants that couch. So also that surgery is like $6,000.
Oh, I mean, yeah, animal surgery is not cheap.
Yeah, so it's like one of those things where I'm like, you seriously, doggy, you gotta chill.
It's just like people surgery,
Yeah, except for no insurance. Well, I guess insurance can be.
I mean,
doggy
depends on what kind of
insurance,
insurance you have.
They pay you after the fact.
Yeah.
Well, why don't do you want to give your game of the year lists?
Let's talk game of the year.
Yeah, sure.
Joel,
how do we want to do this? You want me to just roll through my list?
Yeah, why not?
Do you want us to put like, because we kind of also came up with a Nintendo Switch kind of list.
I mean, you can say whatever you want. Like I guess I could give, because my list for your thing will be out before this is out. So basically, what I'm going to do.
Truthfully, a lot of these games are going to be on the Switch or shared as part of our list too. So if we want to go through that here, Alex, that's fine. Let's see the list here. So a few that are probably obvious in some way. Sea of Stars is going to end up pretty high up our list.
Did both of you beat it? Jeremy beat it.
100% it.
Okay.
I did not 100%, but I did beat it.
I think, according to my stats, I played it for 8 hours or something. I got distracted by something else.
That is, though, it is seriously one of the best JRPGs that I've played in years. It is just, it moves at a really good clip. My problem with a lot of JRPGs is that it kind of lags. After a while. It's like, I don't want to do another fetch quest. And this one, it just keeps going. It just keeps giving me more reasons to keep moving forward. So it'll just.
And I was never uncertain of where to go next either, which is nice.
Yeah.
It keeps you moving forward. And one of the things, and like we talked about the show a little bit before, but I love to grind in RPGs. That's one of the reasons I love RPGs. But in this game, I found it a bit freeing that when I would like be having trouble with a boss, it wasn't because I needed to grind. It was because I needed to figure out the right strategy. So like Sea of Stars just really kind of stretched my brain muscles a bit more than the average RPG where you can just grind and get good, get big.
Again, I think I 100%ed it. I died like 4 times maybe. Joel, did you die a bunch during Sea of Stars?
No, not really. And it's, to me, it's to its credit that I didn't have to grind too much, because there were bosses that I was able to steamroll through, but you get into the second half, most of those bosses, there's a strategy you have to follow, and you can't brute force it the way that you might be inclined to. The ability to swap out members throughout the match cannot be discounted. How important that is to succeed, but also how much extra strategy that you get to play around with in the actual combat. Like I remember, this thing got critical praise across the board, but there have been some people that I've listened to at times talk about how this just feels very Paper Mario-y. It's Paper Mario plus Chrono Trigger, and it's like they spin so many more plates in that combat system than just
they do, and it's also like you're comparing it to two of the best RPGs ever. Like, that's good. It's good that it's like those things. Absolutely. They're spinning a lot more plates, but they're like still giving a very, very wink, 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 very obvious nod to those things at times, and I like it. I like that they're acknowledging the source material and their inspiration, and at the same time they're definitely bringing it into the modern era, making it different, making it better.
Yeah, and I think that there's always what is the best JRPG of all time? It's like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI, but it's like this felt better than those.
Dragon Quest V.
But this might feel better than that, is what I'm saying, is that it's just so much. It's just so. It just moves. The only way I keep saying it is that it just moves, because I sometimes feel like things drag, and this just every time it's like, oh, we got to go do this thing, and this thing's super exciting, and it's like, oh man, I want to do that, and then I'd finish that thing, and they'd be like, now we got to do this, and I'm like, oh damn, we do got to do that. We better go. I had trouble. JRPGs are games that I play in chunks because I know how long they are, and this is one of the few ones where I just could not put it down. I was like, nope, I gotta go. Of course we gotta go save our friend over here, because they also are in the Undersea Kingdom. Yeah, let's do that now. No, I'm not going to bed.
You tell them.
But that doesn't happen in JRPGs.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen in JRPGs.
I remember there was, what was it, a couple of years ago, where you said you were gonna try to play all JRPGs, and you played a bunch of really long ones. I remember that was like when one of the Saga game, like didn't you review one of the Saga games or something like that? I think you were on our show talking about it.
Yeah, and I definitely did not play as many JRPGs as I should have.
I felt I have to say we'll talk about it later once we get to the Switch stats, but I felt a little burnt out by RPGs this year, I guess, probably because they're so long and I don't have a whole lot of time. And I feel like I played more action stuff than, weirdly enough, me being a huge RPG fan, but I didn't play that much RPG stuff this year.
But that's one of the good things about Sea of Stars is that I think that to 100% it was like 20 hours.
I mean, like Super Mario RPG is 12 hours, and I didn't even beat that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I like that game a lot.
I think I beat that in like 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're better at focusing at one thing on one thing. I focus on one thing for like one day, and then I play a different game. I play a different game every day. It's dumb. That's how you never beat anything. But that's but that's why that was what my list was going to be. Is that I'm only going to rank the games that I beat of the year.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
because I haven't. I was like I could do 10, but I don't think I have a whole 10 that I beat that came out this year.
Anyway, like in case they're listening, shout out to Sabotage because they actually like quote tweeted us one time and we like.
Oh yeah, when we gave the Messenger game of the year because we like because it was. Because we do the points for all of our lists or whatever, and it was.
Now they got what was it? Best indie game at the It's awesome.
Yeah, it did get did get best indie game
and
at the
in there.
Game Awards, and I was I did this Kickstarter, so there's a little gravestone that says "Here lies NintenDomain" in the game.
Oh, nice.
I mean, there's hundreds of them, so it's kind of hard to
possibly thousands
to like find it. Like you have to like get specific coordinates, and they email them to you after you like kickstart the game and all that. But yeah, I did it.
Oh, no.
I did that level
like those
to where you got the free soundtrack and you got the game for free too. Like
I kind of like those Kickstarter credits where it's like you're being inserted somewhere in it, but it's really benign. Kind of like I think Bloodstained had the thing where you could, if you paid high enough, you could have your picture.
Yeah, you can put like pictures of your pets painting in the background and stuff.
Well, it'd be like someone holding a cat or something.
Hey, you know what? I'm in the indie game of the year indirectly, like really indirectly.
Correct. Just to shoot through a few more of mine, if we're talking about stuff on Switch, I gotta talk about Cocoon.
I haven't played that game, but it looks beautiful. But
it is.
It looks great.
It's an experience, and you know these developers, they're the same people that did. Do you remember, Alex? It wasn't Inside, was it?
No, actually, it was one of those developers. Yeah.
Okay.
One of the leads of that game was one of the leads of this new studio.
Okay. This game, it's a puzzle game. We tested it out. It felt smart from the outset. The kind of puzzles, you start with one orb that just turns into being a planet that you can sort of jump into.
They did Journey.
Wait. Oh, must have been.
Wait, did they?
No,
they must have branched off from that
I don't think they did Journey.
Journey's that game company, so if it's someone from them, they must have split off.
I'm on the Steam page for Annapurna, and it's like here's our games, and it's like
geometric and interactive. Let's see.
What Remains of Edith Finch.
I mean, that's stuff that they produce, though. It doesn't mean that all the people.
I guess so.
Jeppy Carlson, who also did what?
Limbo.
Inside. There you go. Jeppy Carlson of this new studio.
Geometric Interactive. Did one of you say that already?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
But Limbo does this great thing where it keeps on adding new places for you to sort of like almost Inception like jump into being like into this world while also carrying this world and jumping into the next world with that, completing a task here. Well, now I need to jump out of this world, carry the world inside of a world into the next world in order to solve this problem of the ability it has. But somehow, in spite of all that jumbling, there's only one path to completion.
Every time you make progress, they gate off the back, like going backwards. So you never ever get like stuck. You're like, oh well, I must have missed something. You can't go backwards.
Oh, that's so you can't get like real.
Is it possible to like miss things because you can't go backwards? Okay.
No.
And that's I just meant about completionism type stuff.
Oh no, there's stuff that there's collectibles for sure.
Okay.
But the idea of like you're never gonna get lost and then be like, oh, like waste a bunch of time. No, the answer is right in front of you with the tools you have, and they've limited what you can do to the point that when you do figure it out, you're like, Oh shit! But that was awesome because I didn't like waste a bunch of time backtracking or something.
Yeah, so
Mhm. But yeah, it's just a very smart experience. Like story, whatever, you're just seeing things happen on the screen pretty much.
Okay.
But the environment's uncomplicated but very beautiful and has that really nice eerie ambient sound throughout the entire experience. A very Annapurna game, very, very good.
See, I love both Limbo and Inside. I've played all the way through both of those. I played Limbo multiple times just because I remember when it first came out, it just blew my mind. Like,
I tried to get my son to play Limbo a couple weeks ago, and it took him about 10 minutes for him to quit.
how old's your son? Because
Ele-
It's a scary. It's a scary
I know,
game.
I'm just kidding.
I would say,
I was shocked that they were letting that kid get like speared on the spikes and all that. You know, like it's just a silhouette, but still, it's very stark.
It is, and he's at the age where like he's the Five Nights at Freddy's, Amanda the Adventurer type stuff, like that, like jump scary kind of stuff. And I said, "Oh, you want to see scary? Like I'll download this game and you can sit down and watch it."
I got
and
scary for you. Come here, kid.
Yeah, he quit, but I can't tell whether or not it was because he was concerned or bored.
So he may have been desensitized at this point by Five
yeah.
Nights at Freddy's.
I played through Limbo. Even I played through it on PS3 way back when.
Real quick, if you're into Limbo and Inside, let me recommend a non-Switch game, American Arcadia.
Okay,
there you go. Just put that on your list. Put that on your radar.
Go ahead, add it to the notes where I write my notes.
One game that I think got robbed at the Game Awards.
I was going to say, I did want to say before you moved on, Cocoon did get an award for debut indie, which I guess means new company, new game, right?
Which I thought was odd.
Yeah,
they've already made a couple of games.
It's going to be like,
well, the company,
be like back.
The specific company is new. This is only one game from it, but the guy made Inside and Limbo on a different company that he left, and now he started this new company. Is basically
It'd be like back in the day, during the NES days, where Nintendo kept one company how many games they could release. And
maybe it's like when David Crane started Activision at Atari. Like
I was gonna say, like,
or it's like Konami coming out with Ultra games, or
it's like it's like giving like best new comic award to Spawn, even though like Todd McFarlane wrote 1 billion comics before that for Marvel.
But I was to say that, or like again a band. Best new artist, but it's like that guy's been in like 7 bands, but it's like not this one. This is a new one.
That's Bruce Springsteen. He just started a band where he only plays a kazoo,
but it's a new band. Best new band.
That's what Andre 3000 did recently, right?
Yeah, it's true.
It's a weird album.
It's incredible.
They added another number. Now they're 3005.
I love it. I've listened to it twice, but that's probably more than most people.
But A Space for the Unbound is the game I wanted to mention.
You commented on our show about that, and I haven't played it yet, but
so
I got the demo for it. I know it's demo.
It's a 2D interactive like adventure game. You're exploring and talking to people and doing things. That sounds very reductive. It's got the system where you can sort of like warp into people's psyches and do things in there in order to change the outcome of things in the real world. And it plays a lot of tricks with like the kind of what's real, what's not tilt of things. But it went places I didn't expect story-wise. And they use the mechanics not just as a solving puzzles things, but as a storytelling device in a way that I find really smart when they do that well. And it's a beautiful game, great pixel art, great music. It doesn't outstay its welcome, and all the characters you find interesting and get a fondness for, and it really helps make things impactful in that story. So
it's very emotional as well.
Yeah. You're gonna feel things playing through that.
I like how indie focused your list is here. Like it's kind of I know like what we try to do like whenever we do our list is like obviously we're not going to talk about Tears of the Kingdom because everybody's going to talk about Tears of the Kingdom, and it's probably like maybe it would unanimously be number 1 for all of us. So we're going to take it off the list and we're going to do all the other games because
It was like 2017. You weren't allowed to talk about Odyssey or Breath of the Wild.
yeah, because those were like
Well, you could
number one
talk about it,
games,
but
so
it wasn't in your list, right?
Yeah, we're like, well, everybody's going to say those are the 2 best games of the year, so why don't we talk about other games? But I like that you're more focused on the indie stuff, and a lot of that stuff doesn't get talked about enough, because everybody keeps talking about
You also have a
Baldur's
broader
Gate
spectrum
and whatever else.
podcast.
Part of it is like we focus on that stuff, but the other part of it is I know this has been quote unquote the best year or one of the best years in gaming. I did not. How long do these bigger games, right? Like how much time do I have in a day?
Armored Core is like 40 hours, right?
And
I
that's on my list.
That seems short by most standards, right?
Yeah, and then you look at Baldur's Gate, that's like 100 hours, and then all of these games are just like really intensely long and ongoing, and like it's like I know Joel and I both know Armored Core is good, we know Alan Wake 2 is good, we know those games are good, but at the same time it's like, well, also Space for the Unbound was 6 hours,
and if you'd had a limited schedule, being able to play a lot of these smaller quick hit experiences,
Venba is an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Venba.
You're still staying in touch with the zeitgeist.
That was nominated for a couple things too.
I think it was, yeah. Just a few quick hits here. Nintendo Armored Core. If you liked Armored Core, you'll like that. Jasant. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that one. Came out on Game Pass. It is very much just I am climbing a mountain, and it's actually like rock climbing mountain type stuff. A very quiet story, very very Indian. Like it's environmental storytelling and just sort of fixated on this one type of mechanic, but it does it really well. There is a demo out there if you've got PC, so you can definitely try before you buy on that. But it's on Game Pass, so if you have that, that's another option.
Yep.
Alex will agree with me on this, but Coffee Talk episode 2, Biscuits and Butterfly.
Oh yeah,
Coffee Talk. It's my heart.
So want more Coffee Talk?
There you go.
Want to hide secrets and take stuff and give stuff, packages, spooky stories. It's all pretty good.
By the end, you're just hanging out with your friends. It's like, man, I'm just hanging out with my friends. This is awesome.
Yep. Sonic Superstars made it onto the list.
Yes. There you go.
Disagree.
Hey, that's one of the spoilers. That's one of the games that I beat this year, and that's one of the games that's going to be on my list for you.
Now I'm waiting for Santa for some of my 2023 experiences, or hoping Santa gets them. So I haven't gotten to Wonder yet. I'm sure it'll be a great time. There is something really great in how kind of messy this game is, in that kind of Sega way compared to Nintendo. Just like you think about Sonic the Hedgehog versus Super Mario World, right? Super Mario always had this kind of like really veneer of polish when it's at its height like that. And Sonic the Hedgehog is kind of, it's a little unwieldy. It can be kind of clippy or unclean in some spots, but it's got a lot of character.
60 FPS on Switch though. It runs at 60. I'm just saying really it's not clippy as in like it doesn't run well. Like it.
I meant it
runs very well.
Like,
and I played
Sonic.
I played through Sonic Superstars before I played Mario Wonder, and there was some things that I was like, oh, I already saw this in Sonic Superstars. It's not that exciting anymore. Sorry. But there were like effects that I thought were really cool in Sonic Superstars that are also in Mario Wonder. But there's a lot of things in Mario Wonder that's in other games, like every game. It's like, oh, Mario turned into a thing. It's like you did that a bunch in Odyssey, and Kirby did that way before you did on that also. So what else do you got for me?
Right.
Like, give me some more bosses.
But it was a surprise. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I have. I guess it just didn't demo very well. But quickly, Disney Illusion Island. If you like Metroidvania games that are very family focused, or like you just want something to explore and not be challenging.
Baby's first Metroidvania.
Yeah,
they call it a Mickeyvania.
They called it a Mickeyvania.
But it's like 4-player too, right? Though I mean, when I saw it, I thought it looked like New Super Mario Brothers Wii, like that sort of thing.
It is
4-player chaos, whatever.
It is 1 to 4. It is 1 to 4 player. It feels a lot more cooperative than combative. There's a lot of like you can hug your friends and then give each other health. Every person who plays chooses their own difficulty to where like you could have it normal or hard with less hearts or be invincible and not have to worry about like getting back to the respawn points and stuff.
No combat.
No active combat. Like you do platforming jumps and stuff, but you're not going to be swinging fists or anything like that.
And then it's just like a baseline Metroidvania. So for anybody who's never done that or had to do that, this is entry level. Bring your spouses into Metroidvania world with this.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, my wife Kelly and I have had a great time every time we played it, and it's going to be in our rotation here. But
Gato Roboto is like that. So I think that's like
that game was really fun.
Reach back,
Yeah.
but it was. I felt like it was a super approachable, fairly easy.
That was a fun short game that I beat. I think I beat it in a.
I think there's a sequel coming, right?
Session. There's supposed to be DLC to it because it kind of doesn't end. It has like a major cliffhanger, but we never saw more of it.
So my final one, my number one's F-Zero 99.
Yes, there you go. I was gonna say Rocket Racing is pretty cool,
so
but you know what? It's not as cool as F-Zero 99 and Disney Speedstorm. It's also not as good as Disney Speedstorm.
I still
you should play it. It's free. It's fucking way better than Rocket Racing. There's stuff you can do. It's not just like it has like a story mode. It has like a map or whatever. I love Disney Speedstorm. I put 20 hours into that game and didn't spend any money on it at all.
I'll never check that. But all my misgivings hearing the rumors were dispelled shortly after I picked it up and started playing it. Like the smile on my face, it brings me when I open that up, hear that classic music.
One of the best soundtracks of all time, in my opinion.
You're still playing it, aren't you, Joe?
Good.
Nightly. Like
I still play it.
Have you played the classic mode?
Yes, I'm terrible at it.
Oh, I love it because it's the Super Nintendo game that I played so many times.
I do too. It's
but it is harder because it's much it's much tighter now and it's much easier.
Well, and it's that fighting game thing where it's like you might be good at this game around your friends, but when you get exposed to a larger circle of people and get bodied by everybody around you, like
I was just good against the computer. I mean, there was no 2-player in the Super Nintendo game, so you would never know until now. So,
But man, a 99-person track is the shot of life that this series needed, and I'm really praying between all the updates they've had that there's an active community, and then 2 that this will be some sort of test case to prove that there's a reason to carry the series on beyond this. So.
And we all want I want F-Zero GX HD remaster.
That would be a day one for me.
Yeah, well, me
No
too.
doubt.
I love F-Zero. F-Zero is one. I mean, I talked about it on our episode 400, but F-Zero is one of my favorite Nintendo franchises ever. So, I would love and other people care. I know Joel does. I've heard other people out there. People care about F-Zero. Bring it back.
It was like I think there was sort of like maybe some leaks or whatever, but still, I was genuinely surprised by F-Zero 99 when it was announced, and the amount of playtime I put into it since it came out is like, proof of that. Like, it's a great game. It just shadow dropped, and I've played it at least a couple times a week since it dropped.
Yeah, you put a lot of time into it. You put like 30 plus hours in there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the short and long of it. But yeah, F-Zero, clear winner for me. Another here in Damien, I guess.
And I want to throw in a couple of the things because Joel and I have a pretty similar list, except for the Sonic Blasphemy and the F-Zero 99.
It's more blasphemy that you are rejecting a Sonic game.
Did you like Frontiers, Alex? Did you like Frontiers?
It's on my wish list. I want to play Frontiers.
I loved Frontiers, and I'll admit, Frontiers is like broken as fuck, but it's so much fun. It's so dumb, and I love it. And like sometimes you have to play Tetris in the middle of a desert for no reason, and I'm like, sure,
yeah.
It's weird and it's dumb and it's fun, and you can run places really fast, and it's I don't know. I had a great time with it, and the soundtrack is amazing. They have a different song for every single fucking thing in the game. There's like 500 songs in the game. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm on board for that.
And even the DLC, everything has a different song too. It's like you guys are fucking just
The problem I have with the new Sonic is the fact that it gives you 1,000 reasons to stop and slow down, and that's not what I want. I want to keep moving, and that's where I was like, okay, like we played the demo at Summer Game Fest, and I was like, it just keeps wanting to stop me. Like let me run, man. Let me go. Let me.
That's like the past like 10 Sonics have done that. That's what they've been doing. It's like, you know,
that
Sonic
that first level in this Sonic game, I will say it's a bad first impression, and it's not that the level doesn't have a lot of stuff to do, but to Alex's point, like it's trying to introduce you to all this stuff that it has available to you, and it's almost like it spits it all out at you at once.
What was
so it's kind of overwhelming.
What was the other? I just recently.
I thought there's some really cool ideas in there though. Like further on, like there's like that one where you have to keep running while the world like explodes around you, and there's some really cool shit. And yeah, the Sonic Spinball stuff is really fun too. That's in there.
Generations. I just recently played through Sonic Generations.
Oh yeah. That was the last one that I think people pretty much equally liked. Like that was pretty.
No, that was Sonic Mania.
Mm-hmm. No, Sonic Mania, I guess Mania. But
you're talking about between the 3D and 2D fans.
The problem with Mania was that only like 30% of it was new. Most of it was older levels that already existed. So there was maybe like 2 levels that were different. You know, yeah, sure, it looked pretty. It had a great soundtrack, but it's the same game, which with a couple.
I felt like the second acts were unique. I thought the second acts were unique.
At least 50% of it is not new. At least.
Yes, agreed. That I agree. I think 50%.
I'm just saying it was too. Yeah, sure, it looked pretty, but it was too much the same as the original games for me.
I think as far as my Nintendo list, there are 2 other ones that aren't on Joel's. Dredge, obviously, 3 other ones. Dredge is one of them.
Yeah, the one that we played different games. I swear there was a fucking magic bomb. I'm gonna play it and capture it and tag you on Twitter with it. There was some sort of thing where you could destroy all the fish under you and collect them all. And it wasn't the big ones. Awesome. I swear that I did it. Trust me, I beat that game, both endings. No, I love that game.
And then World of Horror. Did you guys get a chance to look at this at all?
I'm familiar. That's the like black and white, kind of like
it's like they call it like a 1-bit. Like really, it's so World of Horror is they took a lot of like inspiration from Junji Ito, the Japanese horror artist. Like you make these like crazy, like more psychological horror stories, and they made a roguelike where it's an it's an adventure game. So you're moving from scene to scene, and it'll say like, oh, okay, there are 5 cases that you have to solve. And you do them by going to these different places and doing these different activities and investigating. As you do it, you do it across a certain number of days. Each action you do takes time in the day, so you have to do everything like efficiently. And also there's turn-based RPG like combat, and you like damage is permanent. So if all of a sudden it's like your character gets stabbed in the eye, and it's like the rest of the game he's missing an eye, you know what I mean? Like it's like that kind of thing. And you had like the whole time also the cosmic horrors are coming, so there's a constant ongoing countdown. So your job is to go through and start trying to solve these cases, which is like, oh, you have to go explore the school because there's a demon there. And you go from room to room where random enemy ghosts will fight you, or you will find the things to do to create a seance, and the seance will either work or it won't. But if it doesn't, it's fine. It also just closes the case and says you failed at that one, keep moving. And the game lets you, like, it says, hey, you can do 1, 3, or 5 missions, but the idea is that you're doing a run of how many missions to go through and explore the town, get items, level up, and also fight these demons that the damage is perma-damage. And then at the end of the day, you have to solve enough cases that the cosmic horrors, like the doom that is incoming, stops. So it's like,
are you saying cosmic horror in the sense of like Lovecraftian, or is it like?
Yes, it's like it's something foreboding that's psychic that you can't see but only perceive. Yeah, it's definitely like that kind of story, but also the horror isn't like horror. It's like, oh, there's a demon lady, but you look at her, she looks like a normal lady, but she's got 4 rows of teeth, and that's way too many teeth.
So
You know what I mean?
it's like
the
Canny
cone,
Valley horror.
like the cone heads. They had lots of
or
The
like
Coneheads
some lady
movie.
that's got like a black hole void for a face, and you're like, that should be, and that makes me uncomfortable to look at. But that's the game. So World of Horror is just like a fun, like it's a very fun but unsettling type of game that is all like you don't often, what was it? Darkest Dungeon is kind of a roguelike horror game.
I like that game a lot. The first one.
and
I
that-
never played the second one.
Yeah, I'm just saying is that roguelike horror games aren't necessarily a thing. And I've only heard of now 3. Darkest Dungeon, World of Horror, and what also came out this year, which is You Will Die Here, which is a PC game. And that one is more like that's a Resident Evil roguelike. So I just think that horror roguelikes are a thing that is it's interesting to do, and I think that we could do more with it. So World of Horror does that.
There was that vaccine game, which was also a roguelike horror.
Oh,
game.
really?
It was
It was a Resident Evil like game.
Yeah, it was basically it was an early Switch game. I mean, I'm sure it was ported from PC. They actually made a sequel to it, but you could get it for really cheap, and it looks like Resident Evil 1, and it's basically a mansion that's randomly generated, and you go around and shoot zombies and see how long you can last. And I thought
You're
was
trying to get the vaccine for your friend who's
What game is this?
it's just
essentially
called it's
dying.
called Vaccine. That's what it's called.
Oh, okay, because it sounds like that. It sounds like You Will Die Here Tonight, which is
It was an early
Resident
game. It
Evil.
came out it came out whenever the Switch launched, and for all I know, it was a game before that. But I had fun with it. But yeah, it's very much like it feels like Resident Evil 1, like on PlayStation. It's supposed to look like that with like the really bad poly and like the textures are super blurred and all that. And yeah, your friend is like dying, and you have to get this vaccine. It's like how long can you last? But it's basically like a mansion that's randomly generated, so the rooms are always in different places every time.
But you have to get back to your friends. So
Google You Will Die Here Tonight. Google that one because you're just describing that game to me, and I'm just like, this seems very similar.
Maybe that's the sequel to Vaccine. No, probably not.
But
No,
it's
it's
very
called
similar.
Vaccine 2. The one that's on
Okay.
Switch. But I mean, I wanted to play it. I never got around to playing it, but I really wanted to because I had a lot of fun with the first one. I mean, it's kind of, I'm sure You Will Die Tonight's better, but Vaccine was what I needed at the time. It was dumb. It felt like Resident Evil 1, and it was fun for a few hours. And it was cheap. It was like $7 or something like that. It wasn't like an expensive game.
The other ones I do want to mention are a Tiny Sticker Tale. So it is it's a Zelda-like in that it's got the maps, like each screen, you go from screen to screen and it fills out a map. So when you walk to the next screen, it shifts the camera over, and now it's just like this next square that's the screen. But the idea is that most things in the world can just become a sticker that you grab and put in your sticker book, and you use that to solve problems in the world. So you'll walk over a bridge and then grab the bridge and put it in your sticker book. And then you will walk to the next screen and it'll be like a river and you can't get across. You just take the sticker out and put it over the bridge. And you'll see like an older lady that says, I've always wanted to retire on the beach at sunset. And you will at some point find a sun, you will take it. And then you will take the old lady and put her in your sticker book. So now you have the sun and the old lady as a sticker in your sticker book. Find the beach and prop them both up. And then she'll say, that was amazing. Thank you very much. Like that's the kind of like that's the game. It's pretty relatively short.
Kind of sounds like Sticker Star, but fun, maybe.
Yeah, and it's only like 2 hours. It's a very cute, cozy game.
It looks very cute for what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
You're like a donkey.
Yeah. I just will say that at the end it kind of tacks on a like, oh, by the way, you were looking for your dad, and now you got to deal with death and stuff.
You're actually a mule. Your mother was a horse.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this game on a direct. Like I'm pretty sure it was on a direct. I remember.
Yeah.
I remember we talked about it.
And then non-Switch, the many pieces of Mr. Coo, COO. It reminds me of like the MTV Acid TV animations, where it's you play like point and click adventure, where you're clicking on essentially a cartoon, and the cartoon just reacts to you, and your job is to like complete the scene so that it moves on to the next scene. So just like a really interactive, psychedelic, everything is kind of like melts into each other and like on acid type cartoon.
So Super Mario Wonder.
No,
like liquid,
I know
liquid television.
Liquid television.
Yeah.
That's what it was. That's what I was thinking of.
I used to watch that shit
like
all the time.
So if you
was
want to
fun.
play liquid television, the many pieces of Mr. Koo.
Does it have the head in there? Remember the guy with the giant
Is it
head that
spelled
had the
C-
demon
is it
living in
spelled
his
like
head?
the French way?
The what? The what?
Is it
Spelled
is
like
coup spelled like the French way?
COO.
Oh, okay.
But that one I just played because we played the demo on Steam, and then it just gets so weird. It's like an eyeball. There's an eyeball with legs running through the scene, and you got to figure out how to capture the eyeball with legs to ride it to go to the next scene. And it also
fun.
does the event. But it does the adventure game thing of like, by the way, these solutions don't make sense. You're just kind of doing adventure stuff. So, you're trying every solution until you find the right one, even if it makes sense or not.
But maybe it makes sense within the context of the environment or not.
I don't know. I have a problem with a lot of adventure games because of like half of the time it's just like, oh, you put two things together and I don't know how I was supposed to gather that. But
no, I get that with like especially like old school like PC adventure games and stuff.
Yeah, where everything's like the answers are like super obtuse. It's like what?
Exactly.
How would you know? How would you know that?
The many pieces of Mr. Koo is very obtuse.
Now you got to buy the strategy guide.
I followed a very specific YouTube video.
I felt like there was an era of gaming where it's like there's no way you could have found out unless you bought the Nintendo Power Guide or something. But
we have a friend at
sure.
We have a friend at Twinfinite who makes guides, and I've texted him a couple times, being like, "Hey, you got anything on this?"
How do you do this? Oh, yeah, especially since you like a lot of you play like a lot of early access stuff, right? So there's probably not a whole lot of information out there if you get stuck on a thing.
I think we know who should be writing the guides, or Mr. Early Access.
Yeah,
right. That's a job, man. That's a job.
That
is a job.
It's probably
guides
not,
writer.
It makes the game not fun to play, I'm sure.
Yeah. Because
you got to play through it every which way to try to find all the stuff.
I feel like that's like I don't know, it's not quite equivalent, but it's like the dishwashing of the restaurant industry. It's like to get into the games industry, you got to do the FAQs and like be really good at it, and like people will notice that you put in the due diligence. I don't know. I feel like that's what Janet did. Janet Garcia, our friend, was on.
Oh, we just recently,
Janet did a great, did a really good Luigi's Mansion 2 guide. I remember using that, or no, 3. Luigi's Mansion 3, not 2. I remember using.
Shout out to Grayson Morales. Grayson Morales out in Chicago doing the lead guide editor for Game Rant.
Nice.
Yeah. I always tweeted him, "Hey man, what's going on with this game? Can you hook me up?"
I do apologize, guys. I do need to drop off here.
Yeah, that's okay. And I know it's pretty late. I want to. I just wanted to try to speed through some things.
Yeah,
but if you need to,
that was our game of the year list.
Yeah, but if you, I just wanted to say my Jeremy and I's game stats real quick. Because I didn't see yours I saw yours on Twitter, but it didn't say anything. All it was a picture.
I didn't post it.
Of Tears of the Kingdom. No, it's confusing like how to post it because it doesn't actually show you anything. I'm just gonna say this is all right. This is what it told me. It said I played 117 games this year. That's stupid, but I think some of them might be demos or something. I spent 1,077 hours on Switch. I think it stops after November because it doesn't have anything from December on here. So, of course, obviously, everybody's number one game, 158 hours in Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. But more importantly, 87 hours in Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and part of that is the DLC. But I did beat that game at the beginning of this year, so there you go. And 84 hours in this little game called AEW Fight Forever that I never talk about on this show ever. I have not had people on here to talk about it. Oh yeah, it is. Of course it is on everything. And of course we got to talk about the newest AEW Fight Forever news. So AEW Fight Forever Season 2 was announced. It was for Switch. They said it'll come there eventually. Now the Beat the Elite version is available now, where you can go through this ladder of 10 characters. You can unlock new crazy skins for the wrestlers or whatever to use. But it's not available for Switch yet. But now they're saying the 27th, you're going to get that and the Acclaimed. You got to pay $25 for another season. Everybody is mad about it. But you know what? I put like almost 90 hours into that game, so whatever. And I met people online that I never met before, and now we play that game and talk about wrestling and record it. So
let me ask you this. As somebody who played a lot of wrestling games as a kid, was into Attitude Era, but has dropped off, purely as a wrestling game, is AEW a good game to jump into?
Well, yeah. I mean, the base of the game is basically based on those old 64 games that you played. So if you played like WrestleMania 2000 or WCW NWO Revenge or No Mercy or World Tour or any of those, that's what it's modeled on. And it actually has the guy who developed those working on this one as well. They got like the specific dude. They got Ukes, like he's with them, who are the developers. And that was the idea, was to try to recreate those N64 games. So if you're familiar with those mechanics, the way it works, where you do the soft grapple or the hard grapple, and then you push a direction and a button and it does a different move, that's the same as how this works. And you get your special up, you grab the guy, you move the right stick, you do your special move. That's how you did it in the 64 game. It works the same way. So it'll feel very familiar to you if you played those games.
Okay, awesome.
So
yeah.
There's a pretty decent single player mode. You can create your character, but the created character is not great. Like there's not a whole lot of options. Like there's kind of like 5 faces that all kind of look the same. But if you like AEW, I thought they did a pretty good job representing the characters and all the finishing moves that they do. Like they're very specific. Like one person, Hangman Adam Page, does a move called the Buckshot Lariat, where he goes outside the ring and then he does a little flip and hits the guy with his arm. In order to do that, you have to get outside the ring and get your special up, and then you move the stick, and then you do that exact same move. So, like, if you don't know how to do these, like, specific special moves, like, know the wrestlers, you won't know how to do them. Like, it very much feels like a fighting game in that way, where they all got these very unique special moves, and they all have very unique, like, personalities and all that. And Sting's in it.
You drop the word fighting game, and that hits the right buttons.
I mean, it's definitely a fighting game. I mean, that's what we do. And there's a fucking Fortnite mode on it too, called Stadium Stampede, where you run around a stadium and you fucking hit each other in the head with bats and stuff. And you can get a horse and you can run over people with a horse, and there's golf carts. It's dumb.
What was the wrestle battle royale that just got
the Royal Rumble?
No, Brawl. Oh. No, not Brawlhalla.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like the game?
It just ended. Yeah. They just like stopped doing it. Rumbleverse.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I never played it. I heard about it after the fact, after it was already gone. So
yeah.
So yeah, anyway, AEW Fight Forever was my third most played game. I obviously put the most hours in May. I think everybody did, because that's when Zelda came out. Aside from that, like my number 4 is Stardew Valley, because Jess and I, we played that a lot co-op. Number 5, Game Boy Advance games. That came out this year. Nintendo 64, obviously. GoldenEye. Put like 30 hours into Persona 4 Golden. Metroid Prime Remastered. Vampire Survivors. Game Boy. Quake 2. That's like my top 10 that I played the most there.
I didn't know it gave all 10.
Yeah, it'll actually give you more than that, but I don't want to bore these two any longer than we already have. So,
well, that's cool. Then let me.
That's good. That's good for my stats.
Sweet. So my number 1 was definitely Tears of the Kingdom. 381 hours.
Yeah. You played almost 400 hours. Oh my god, you played the crap out of that game.
I almost have everything in there. Like I've almost 100% of it. I think I'm at like, I'm only missing like less than 10 shrines. I think I just like stopped. Dave the Diver, 79 hours. Love that game. Actually, just started playing it like last month. And then my third place was the Game Boy Advance Nintendo Switch Online at 60 hours, which doesn't surprise me because I played through a bunch of those games. Like,
you played through Minish Cap. I remember that.
All the way through Minish, all the way through, a lot of those games. So
I think the one I put
June was my most played month because I was playing Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, there you go.
I think the one I put the most time into in the Game Boy Advance was Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, because I never beat it and I finally did this year. So F you, Bowletta.
Nice.
I do believe so. Yeah, it says that F-Zero 99 was my 5th most played game. So I did play that a lot. So I will give you that. And then Vampire Survivors was my 7th most, because come on, Vampire Survivors is great.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great game. I put 25 hours into that little $5 gem. It's a wonderful little game.
It just keeps giving. They keep updating it too.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I heard they're adding a story mode. I don't know if it's there yet, but I really want to play that.
It's there.
It is there? It is there now?
Well, it's not on Switch yet. I think it comes out at a later date.
Oh,
on
okay.
Switch.
Well, if we could just run through whatever we played really quickly. I'm not going to spend that much time on it. During the Game Awards, they shadow dropped Harvest Moon 64, Jet Force Gemini, and 1080 on the American Nintendo Switch, Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online. I love Harvest Moon 64. It was the first Harvest Moon game that I ever played and really liked, so I played a lot of that more than anything else. I like the simplicity of it. You're mostly just planting seeds. I was playing it last night, and there's like a horse race you can bet on, and it moves so quickly that I couldn't figure out how to change my money into tokens to bet on the horse races. They just kept happening, and the time moves so fucking quickly in that game. But it's just it was the first one of those games I ever really liked, so always have a soft spot in my heart for that. Jet Force Gemini. Oh my god, this game has not aged well at all. These controls are awful. It's I think the main reason that Jet Force Gemini got so much shit was that it came out after GoldenEye and after Perfect Dark, which had playable control schemes. And instead they're like, let's make this third-person shooter game that does not control like a third-person shooter. Like, you can't run and aim at the same time. It's really annoying. It's really easy to die when there's flying enemies shooting you. I tried to play.
The targeting system is bullshit.
The targeting system is awful. Like, it sort of auto targets for people that are on the ground, but anybody who's flying around that can kill you much quicker, you can't auto do that. You can hold the button to aim, and you can kind of move strafe back and forth while you're aiming, but it's really fucking clunky, and it doesn't work well. And oh my god, this game is not fun. Yeah, I played it. I remember I borrowed it from somebody in college when we were at LCC, and I played it. Basically, it's like this, got the Saturday morning cartoon thing. It builds up that you're going to go to this planet and you're going to fight this guy. And when you get to the planet and you get to fight the guy, they're like, you know what? You don't have the right gun to kill him. So go back to all the levels that you already beat and find all of these pieces to build this gun to fight this guy. And I was like, fuck you, game. I'm never playing you ever again. And then I turned it off and walked away from Jet Force Gemini. So if you want to deal with the, frustration of Jet Force Gemini, go for it.
There's
now
some
with
folks
save states.
I've seen some video too that some of the aspect ratio stuff I think is off compared to
I saw that too, where the widescreen is weird or not quite
it is weird.
Right or whatever. I don't know. It's not a fun game, and you have to fight these little weird fucking Mogwai looking things that are called tribals or whatever. You have to find all of them, and if you miss any of them, you have to go back and find all of them again. It's stupid, but yeah, play it sure if you want to. And even for a Rare game, I think the music's annoying. And I love Rare music. But yeah, this one is very repetitive. So I don't know. So I tried it again just to remember to see if I still didn't like it. And I played 1080 Snowboarding. Everybody knows that game's great. And what was it? Drag Quest Monsters, I'm still playing that game. It's like Persona SMT. You catch monsters, you fuse them together, you make new monsters. I'm on a Dragon Quest group, and I sent out a question that was like, what level do I have to have my monsters out to fuse them? And they sent me like a million different answers that are all completely different and incredibly complicated, breaking down like the math of fusing the monsters or whatever and all that shit. So play it. It's good. I caught a Ganache goodie, which is a little slime that lives inside of a dessert. So slime is like the chocolate, the ganache part, which is fun. Anybody who's seen
that is an odd name.
Anybody who's seen the Great British Baking Show, you've heard that term, or at least that's where I heard it from. But yeah, that's it for me.
I love the Great British Baking Show.
My wife does too. I've seen all of them. Actually, I worked on the Great American Baking Show. I'm on the credits for 4 of the 6 episodes. Watch it on what's it called?
I did not know that there was a Great American Baking Show.
Yeah, it just came out this year. I worked on it last year. Well, I did. I did the preview.
Instead of everybody being nice to each other, they're just super passive aggressive.
I did all this stuff.
But they're not supposed to be aggressive. That's the whole point of it.
Passive aggressive. It's different.
Oh, okay.
There's like 3. There were 3 people from Chicago, and I did like their preview videos. I didn't actually go. They still shot the whole thing.
Oh, I guess I'll bake my cake at 375 for 25 minutes. this is a good spot to end because like I don't have much else to say other than yeah, I kind of already talked about the stuff I've been playing this week. Power Wash, Dragon Quest, and the Fortnite trilogy, or whatever you want to call it. Otherwise, I've just been playing my PS5 and the free games and just dicking around with all those. So yeah, that's been my week.
And like all the stuff that you're playing is also on Switch. It's like not much Switch, but all these are also Switch games. But don't play Power Wash Simulator on Switch. I don't think it looks good at all.
You should.
You should.
No, I'm going to play it, but don't play it on Switch. That's what I'm saying. That doesn't look.
Just do it when you're alone, doing something else, and not when somebody else is in the room with you.
Yeah,
because they'll hate the sound and the boringness of it.
Cool. All right. Well,
that's my experience.
Well, that's been our episode 401. Thank you so much for sticking with us, Alex and Joel, and thanks for giving us your top games and all that. Let everybody know where to find you if they don't know, and to find your lists that you've been putting up, your list, your friends' list. I know you every year. You always put up a bunch of different tops, top fives, top tens, whatever.
Yeah, you're solid about that every year.
Yeah, we try to have as many people as we can whenever we can, and I think that like it's always fun to get like all of our podcast friends, right? Mm-hmm. Jeremy, we got to get you on there, man. What are we doing?
Yeah, get me on there.
You got something for me? Let's do it. Let's get you on there because we want to see your face on our website. We want to get what your opinions are. Give me your list. Let's do this.
Yeah, I did mention that you expressed interest in it. So I wanted to have my friend Shake.
I feel bad because the last time I got invited on a podcast, I was sick and I couldn't make it. So like it's like there's like a curse for me. But let's do it. Let's schedule it.
Yeah.
And you told everybody where to find you, right?
Found at Super GG Radio, Twitter. That's formerly Twitter, Facebook, Blue Sky. If you do that thing, whatever. We have a TikTok, a YouTube. We probably have other stuff I can't think about, but we're reachable in all those places.
Joel makes hilarious TikToks that get us banned.
Yeah, I got in trouble for the last one.
You got to keep your booty like covered if you're going to do that stuff.
Oh, I screwed up the meta. I thought you're supposed to show full frontal.
You got to point at imaginary words to express your feelings on things.
And then our YouTube channel, we're still making videos, beta breakdowns of all the games beta testing, but also the most recent one was our extra live stream where we streamed for 24 hours straight. We released all of the highlights on our YouTube channel. So
that was probably fun to edit.
It was that one
24-hour VOD.
It's not too hard to like edit the 24-hour stream and get all the highlights.
I need to end this because it's dying. Like everybody went completely black and then disappeared.
That's absolutely fine.
You can find us at Twitter at _ Nintendo or Nintendo_domain and at JMaxStack. If you want to watch our stream, twitch.tv/NintenDomain podcast every Monday at 11:30. Also, youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast. You can find us there. And we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast. Just put up a new expansion pack video on there where we talked about our games that made us buy systems that aren't Nintendo. Go listen to that. You can listen to it for $1, or if you pay $5, you get to see these videos that are recorded badly at a hotel. Anyway, we've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
Jerry Mikowski. Special guest,
Alex Unbound Arona, and also Joel DeWitt, who is out.
And thanks everybody for listening.
Thanks for being here. And
see you next
week. See ya.
Shine, you make it all shine. There's an awful lot of dirt in this world. A lot of good things that cover underneath the heavy load. And if I'm feeling
Just sorry. Yeah, really trying to get through that before the internet like completely falls down all around me.